Diesel production.
Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. I'ma come through and show my wit line. Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. Knocking those lines, showing toss of rhyme. I'ma come through and show my wit line. Knocking those lines.
D-Red.
What's going on? What's going on?
Did you watch me on Rob Bourne channel? Did you see the video?
Mm-mm.
All right, so I go on Rob Bourne channel trying to have a dialogue, a respectful dialogue. You know, we disagree or whatnot. And I was humble. I kept it on the humble. When Rob Bourne was speaking, I made sure that my mic was muted and I didn't say anything until he said, "Hey, you can go." I respected the brother's channel, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some other guy on there disrespected the hell out of me just a while ago, and instead of cussing them out, you know, going ignorant, I didn't do that. I just said I'm just gonna leave. So that ended that. Brother said we not on here to hear your sources or hear your information. You are here for our entertainment. So okay, I'm nobody's fool. I wasn't born a clown. I don't have a red nose and big feet, big shoes on. So if that's why you got me on this channel, then goodbye. I deal with scholarship and academia, and I left it at that. You know,
that's how you handle it. Because what ultimately do is it make them look bad. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go over there and go nowhere and be mistreated. You know what I'm saying? When I tell you to be humble, I don't tell you to be humble and be a fool. You know what I'm saying? I tell you to be humble because you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What was making them, why he said that, because what I was bringing out was really killing them inside, because they got this, we were trapped in Africa thing. And I was showing that, and they brought up the slave trade. And I was showing that Jews and Africans was being sold as slaves in Haiti. I showed the source. And that really pissed, you know, that really made them. I'm just reading information, bro. I'm not being coy about it or nothing. I'm not throwing shots. I'm just like, this is my argument. This is where I'm getting this from. And then moving on from there. It was like, well, all these people are African. I said, well, genetically they are African because they got African clades. And then I kept getting cut off. And you know how that shit go, bro. Like, God damn.
Well, the reality of it is a lot of people got their specialty. Like their specialty, Rob Bourne is more of a multidisciplinary in that school of thought. But most of them, they focus really is on what's going on in America from the time the first slaves arrived until now. That's most of they over there. But most of them, that's most of their specialty.
And that's
See what
what
I'm
I was
saying?
dealing with. I was dealing with the slave trade. I'm giving y'all what y'all want. I'm showing you Jews and Africans, which were being sold to the island of Haiti. They couldn't stand it, D-Red, because that's not supposed to be so. That's not supposed to be real. You know what I'm saying? And I showed them, and they flipped on me, man.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is though, I've noticed this about the conscious community. The reason why you don't hear me making a bunch of claims, and I tell the ambos this all the time. You don't hear me making a bunch of claims is because I know I haven't read every source on a particular subject, right? So I don't make definitive claims because I know it may be 20 books on a subject. Yeah, just because I read 10 don't make me an authority. It's still 10 other books I gotta fucking read that may have different evidence that either corroborate my perspective or just totally dismisses my perspective or just add another nuance to my perspective. I understand that. So I don't make claims. You see what I'm saying? That's why you don't ever hear me say there wasn't no Kemet niggas that came over on the slave trade. You don't ever hear me say shit like that. There wasn't no Kemet niggas in West Africa. You don't ever hear me say that shit. You know why you don't ever hear me make no whole bunch of claims? Is because I know I understand how this shit works. You see what I'm saying? I understand no ancient archaeologists, all these archaeologists don't agree with each other. They don't agree on the timelines. They don't agree on a lot of this shit.
Facts.
So I'm not gonna take. It's easy to take one person's work that fits your narrative as is a definitive. Well, that violates the first rule of research methodology. You got to, because the first rule of research methodology, you got to check your own bias at the door. You see what I'm saying? And the so-called black conscious community can't really seem to do that. They'll have a narrative and they'll say, this is what it is, right? They don't say this may be what it is. They don't say this might be what it is. They'll speak in a definitive term that gives them no latitude to actually have any flexibility, if need be. So they'll say there was no. See, once you say there was no, that means that's a definitive. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you say it wasn't many, that's a whole different argument. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So if they say there is no, all you gotta do is show one.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? They don't understand how to actually formulate an argument.
No, because they're religiously attached to their argument. They're religiously attached to it. So it's like,
yeah, that's true.
No Jews can't be in Haiti, and they fuck them. Like, pretty much like, bro, like, you didn't even know this information until I read it from this book. You didn't even know this information, and it's fucking you up because you're like, damn, this nigga, he came with a source saying that these Jews were being sold as slaves in Haiti.
But a lot of their beef has been with Aboriginals, right? We know a lot of those brothers don't have no sources. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So when you're used to dealing with that crowd, that a lot of them don't have, like certain ones got sources like AP, the big dogs. Some of them they got sources. Top Cat, those cats, they got sources. But the average Aboriginal don't got no source. You see what I'm saying? And so when you're dealing with one of them, it's easy to beat up on them. It's easy to get Abo that really just regurgitating something he heard on Aboriginal Power or regurgitating some shit that he done heard dumbass Dane Calloway say, or he heard some of them stupid niggas on Clubhouse say. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to get one of them niggas on the channel and beat them up. Because they really don't be coming with no real sources for real. But it's different when you got somebody in front of you that got just as many sources as you got. So now who's right? See, this is where the problem comes in at. If Rob Bourne got 10 sources to say that prove his perspective, you got 10 sources to prove your perspective. Who's right?
Well, here's the difference though, D-Red. I was actually clarifying the sources. So he brought up the Shumlaka Cameroon DNA sample, and I believe he said this recorded video that we were always in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm like, no, we weren't. If you go back to that article and read the supplementary, it tell you what DNA was there. And it even tell you that the people that are there now are not related to these 4 ancient individuals. It say it in the abstract. So that's the difference. That shows you who's right. Just go back and read it with comprehension, and you can see who was right. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but I'm saying I'm not necessarily talking about whatever y'all was arguing about because I didn't see it. I'm just talking about in general argumentative format. If a person got 10 sources and this person got 10 sources, each person got sources to substantiate their perspective. Who is right? That's when you got to vet the sources, vet the authors. You got to dig deeper into the shit. Well, a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to dismiss anything that don't agree with their perspective, and that's not academic. That's not scholastic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
That's why I told Rob
motherfuckers can't
Bourne,
do
I thought your channel was academic. I thought it was about scholarship. Obviously, it's not. It's about, you know, pushing whatever doctrine you got, and anything outside of that, you know, what's the difference between a Baptist church? That's the same thing in the Baptist church. Anything outside of that is the devil. Anything outside of that is Satan. Y'all
Yeah.
get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't do that on
Yeah.
this channel. Anybody that got a different perspective can come on here and give a presentation. People seen it. Do I be in there trying to cut them off and, oh yeah, you on here for entertainment purposes? I ain't never done nobody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, again, that's what the problem is. When I was there on Aboriginal Power platform, I explained it to them. I said, too many times these new niggas be the problem because you know Rob One for how long? Just about 4 years now.
No, longer than that. Just back in the Google Hangout days, I knew Rob Bourne.
About 5 years, probably about 5 years at least.
Yeah.
I know them probably almost about 10 years. We all know each other. But it be these niggas that just came around 2-3 years ago that be the motherfuckers causing all the problems. And so that's why me and Aboriginal Power was on this platform saying, yeah, man, we all friends behind us. So we all fuck with each other. We don't really got no real animosity with each other.
But D-Red, I took the low road. I don't even know how to use Zoom like that and go to Zoom. You know, I went on Zoom, went on his channel. You know, so I had to ask him, how do you operate this damn thing? Because I'm used to StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? So I was being real humble, bro. And for that dude to do that, you know what I'm saying? It just confirms what I already knew. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean that's something that when I talk to him, I'm gonna have to go back and look and check the stream out. But when I do, that's the mom I have to talk to Rob on about and be like, hey man, you say you can't say that, you know what I'm saying, that we don't have people that have, you know, different perspectives because we and goes come on our platform all the time and we don't fully agree with each other, but we understand each other's perspective. You know what I'm saying? And we actually try to understand each other's perspective and see what other person is coming from and not be dogmatic with the information because information is too fluid. There is no 100% in science. You know what I'm saying? Stuff can only get up to like 99%, 98%.
Yep.
But they always leave room for error. You know what I'm saying? They always leave room for error. Even in DNA.
Yep.
They you know what I'm saying? Even when you who's the father, they says 99.9%. They always leave a margin of error.
Because things are subject to change.
Exactly. So for anybody to speak in definitive terms, like there is no room for error, that's unscientific. This is why I make no definitive statements. I just say, hey, this is what I read. This is what the information say.
The brother
Here's the article.
The brother can't say I ain't went on his channel. He can't say nothing. I did that. Now it's over with. Now I'm moving on and going back to doing what I was doing. You know, I see what it is. It ain't about us presenting our argument. We hear our argument. We talk about our differences. It ain't about that. It's something else. Y'all want to paint a narrative about Israelites, and it don't work on us because we study. You know, and since you know we study. Now it's a problem. Oh, we ain't here for all that. You breaking down that information. You're here to be laughed at. I'm like, yo, really?
Well, that's because that's what they normally do with the Aboriginal. Like I know I'll be over there on the platform, and I'll be in the audience, and I'll be on the panel sometimes. So I already know that's what they're used to with the Aboriginal community. They used to getting Aboriginal on there who don't know what they're talking about and clown them.
Yeah, but obviously that wasn't the case.
This is why it's important for the Aboriginal leaders to stop hiding and running from them niggas, because they get them flunkies over there and doing bad.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
if I was
So,
yelling and cussing at them niggas, they would have liked that show, because he was like, "Oh, well, you're boring." What about it if the information is true or not? This is scholastic and academic information. I'm not up here playing a fucking clarinet or a tambourine and clapping and stomping my feet up here. I'm trying to give you an academic approach to this. I'm showing you DNA. I'm showing you demography. I'm showing you migration patterns. I'm showing you cultural endemic diffusion. You know what I'm saying? Amir, come on, bro. You got to get on this one. Talk about this one, bro. That's right, Amir. They like to bully the weak, the people that don't know what the fuck they talking about. Those are the people that are welcome on these channels. It's not people that are astute, that can actually explain themselves. Because when I went on there and showed source material, it was a problem. Oh, no, you're boring. You're not supposed to be breaking out information. We're supposed to laugh at you right now. We're getting high. The brother told me we're getting high. We're getting blazed. You know, we ain't on here for no information. This is what the brother just told me, D-Red.
like I said, I've been talking to Rob Bourne about it. He gonna have to explain it.
No, it wasn't Rob. Rob Bourne didn't say those things. I don't know the brother.
No. But that's Rob Bourne's platform, though. You know what I'm saying? So since it's his platform, you're responsible for whatever you put on your platform.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That was crazy. I'm like, damn, y'all that dogmatic. All right, bro, I'm out. Because like I said, I wasn't born with no red nose on my face and two big ass rubber shoes and a small car. You know what I'm saying? I'm nobody's fool. I ain't gonna be no damn clown. So if you want to hear real information and us disseminate it, you can come on my channel. I came over here. I tried it that way. It didn't work.
And you heard me when we was in the clubhouse. I was telling him, I said, man, Ngozi didn't necessarily. We don't always agree with everything we say, each other say, but we respectful. We try to understand because Ngozi has a model that he has in his mind. You know what I'm saying? We have a model that we've been working on, and we share it. And he sees what he actually trying to see where we come from. We try to see where he come from, and it ain't no arguing back and forth because everybody understands the information, and we're trying to reconcile the information. We're trying to reconcile history. We're not trying to debate it and make everything ain't got to be contentious all the goddamn time. Sometimes we can just sit back and say, damn, okay, I see where this nigga coming from. Okay, that's an interesting perspective. And if a person understands the science, as opposed to trying to say, you wrong, everything ain't about that. Everything is about, sometimes it's about, okay, damn, I see where that nigga Ngozi coming from with that. That model, that kind of makes some sense. I understand why he say that. You see what I'm saying? And that's the difference between people that's really trying to take our scholastic shit to another level as a nigga just want to argue, man. Some niggas just want to argue. That nigga just was probably one of them niggas that just wanted to argue, bro.
Well, he wasn't getting the Israelite package. He wasn't getting Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. He wasn't getting that from me. So it bothered him, bro.
I already know that. That's why I was trying to explain on Clubhouse to Rob Bourne. I was trying to explain to him. I know what Rob Bourne's frustration is, because I be the nigga that be trying to broker some of them damn debates. I be trying to get them niggas to debate, and them niggas don't want to do it. I know, because I try to get them to do it. I say, look, he want to debate you. Oh, man, I already tried to debate that nigga. I'm like, well, he trying to debate you now, though. I don't give a fuck about what happened in the past. Niggas coming with excuses. So I understood where Rob Bourne was coming from. But what Rob Bourne got to understand, and what I was trying to get him to understand on Clubhouse, is you go through the same shit. Because I be the nigga trying to broker your goddamn debates.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so I see it as a person who's friends with both of y'all. I see it, and both of y'all are brilliant brothers. I see it from both sides because I'm brokering debates for both of you niggas. And I see how niggas don't really be wanting to do it. I mean, they can say it, dude.
Red, when you're done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was about to say,
that's James.
Yeah, this me. I was gonna say that. Do you think that you define people strictly by culture? Because I mean, you say that he's an intelligent brother, but his premise is you define people based on the culture they practice. Do you think that that's a good way to find the descent of a person?
No, I don't. That cultural descent, especially when you look at some of the cultural markers that you find within these cultures, West African cultures. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We talk about the cattle, the chicken, the glass bees, the rice, the
I brought
fucking.
all that up,
You know what I'm
and Raborn conceded. He said, "Yeah, that proves migration."
know what I'm saying? So when you look at those cultures, when you ask, show me Hebrew culture here in America, but you see niggas frying chicken, nigga, that's Hebrew culture. You see what I'm saying? Because the first people to consume chicken was from the Levant. So you asking questions, but not even understanding that what you're really asking. I don't know if I made. I don't even know if that
Well,
made
I
any
brought
sense.
up terracotta. We were talking about the Noke culture and the terracotta, and his only response was, "Well, academically, we don't know what a Noke is." I'm like, "Well, but we do know they had terracotta, and we do know they rode horses."
And we
Yep,
do know the Phoenicians was just north of them, who
yep.
already had iron smelting and
And then we
everything,
do
which would
know
clearly
that
explain that.
the Phoenicians sailed through the Pillars of Hercules all the way and was on the west coast of Africa. We got the scientific articles on that shit too. And we know that they sailed down to Niger. We know that, you know what I mean? Anyway, the point is, when you ask and show me Israelite culture here in America, but you eat fried chicken, nigga, that's Israelite culture. That's Levantine culture right there.
Yep.
Yeah, when you
You
got
see what I'm saying?
circumcised on the 7th day.
Yeah. James, I'm not even trying to go that deep. Like that, what you talking about is like some elastic shit, some smart nigga shit. I ain't the smart nigga. You was the truth about smart
Obviously, you
niggas.
can't even talk about that because they told me that when you summon in those settings, it ain't about bringing out information. It's about finding ways to laugh at you and clown you because we getting high over here at each one teach one. We getting high. We chilling.
Yeah, and I was about to say when I was watching it, you couldn't even get a 2 sentences out
Yep.
before the brother just cutting in. It's like he's saying get there, get there, get there, but it's like, bro, we building. It ain't supposed to be no one word answer or no real quick answer or nothing like that, bro. Like quit playing like that. Like y'all act like I ask you any question they ask, we supposed to answer, whether it's logically valid, whether it's even relevant. We got to answer it exactly the way they want us to answer it. That don't make no sense, bro. You should be able to build a point, especially something that's historical, archaeological, and genetic. You got to build all that together and
Yeah,
bring together a
you got
cohesive
to.
model.
Yeah, I was just
And
about
I
to say you got
told
to.
him, hold on, D-Red. I told her, but I said that's how scientific argument. You lay your premise, and then you give the evidences to back your premise, and then you give your conclusion. That's what I'm trying to do, and I can't get through the first part of laying my premise. I can't even do it. You won't let me. So
I mean,
people can follow the logic behind the things I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like he said convoluted because you interrupting every 2 seconds. You know what I'm
well,
saying? Like nothing's gonna be cleared in because you
but I
throwing
think,
in left field stuff.
yeah, I mean, I think that's why on these in these panels, I try to be, and I try to, when we talk behind the scenes, I be trying to talk about making sure we stay disciplined. That's one thing I've learned the most from watching people like Tazariak. You know what I'm saying? Is the fact that the reason why he's good at debating, even you know what I'm saying, is because he actually he'll sit there and listen. Are you done? And then when they're done, then he go do whatever he say, whatever he gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Because then he's able to di- dissect what you said. You see what I'm saying? Because he listened to everything you said. And so a lot of times these cats don't have no discipline for one. You see what I'm saying? Because it takes discipline to sit there and let somebody actually uh, finish their point. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big deal because if you don't let them finish their point, you don't even know where they're going, what they say. People don't all talk the same. Like me, I'll go all the way around the subject just to come back to the subject to get to my point. I'll do that shit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? For what I don't know why I do it, but that's just sometimes some shit I do. And so some people just talk like that. So you can't expect everybody to talk the way you want
When
them
they
to talk.
cut you off every 2 seconds because the information that you're bringing out is hurting them because you can tell because you can't get one word out. Oh man, this shit is fucking me up. Again, the information was that Jews were being sold as slaves into Haiti. That's what I was reading, and I got cut off every other word. I'm like, bro, let me finish so I can tell you why I'm bringing this out. And they would not allow it because, again, they think the slave trade only happened to a small particular people in the west coast of Africa. That's not true. Jews were sold as slaves too, and I got the documentation to prove it. And I couldn't even lunch from there and show that, okay, now we know that Jews were sold here. We know they was here. Let's talk about these Jews. Who were they? Y'all so stuck on black. What color were they? I was going to break all that shit down. I couldn't even get past the first part, which was establishing the fact that Jews were sold as slaves in Haiti. I couldn't even get past that, D-Red. God damn. James, did you see it all the way to the end? Or nah?
Nah, when they kick me out the comment section, you know me, I'm a dip.
Yeah, man. And Rob Bourne, if you got guests on your channel and they respect you and let you finish all the way through, bro, you gotta let them, like, I didn't even cut you, bro. Yeah, I didn't even cut you at all. I let you say whatever you wanted to say. Jacob fake, everybody fake, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I want to hear your argument. Then I got counterpoints, and then I'm gonna lay my premise. I countered your points and couldn't even get 2 fucking sentences out because that's showing dogma right there, bro. You don't want an opposing view. That's what the church does. Anything that opposes their dogma and their doctrine is the devil. And that's how you guys operate. I was the devil today over there.
Hey, that might be why they kicked me out, because that's what I was pretty much telling them, man. They sound like this faith-based to me. Sound like y'all going off y'all feelings.
Right. I'm gonna share the book that I was reading from. That really got this brother in his feelings and made him say what he said, talking about I'm boring, I don't need to be on here because I'm supposed to be laughed at and all that other shit, and we smoking weed over here. What the fuck they got? I came over here to have an academic discussion. Now I don't know what y'all guys doing. So I'm gonna share my stream, man, and read from the book on my Nook app. Same thing I read over there, trying to establish this fact right here. So first, I want to read this part right here on page 58. This book is called, I can't get the title up. Healing in the Homeland, Haitian Voodoo Tradition by Margaret Mitchell Arman. And what she does in her book on page 58, she brings up the European slave industry, right? And she brings it up. She says the institution of slavery was well rooted in European society. McCormick 2003 points out that the slave trade was completely enmeshed in the social, agrarian, and institutional aspect of early Europe, and it financed the early growth of the commercial economy by selling Europeans as slaves to Arab world and African in the market of Spain in the Middle East. So slavery was not just an African thing or people from the continent of Africa. That's a lie. But a lot of people think that. So this is why this has to be brought out. Oh, it's boring. But you need to be educated, man. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. So you need to be listening to this and taking fucking notes. Now, down here, the highlighted portion. According to Thomas, European slavery occurred.
That would require critical thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's what they don't want to do. That's why it was getting boring to them, because what you was talking about requires critical thinking. You got to think about all this stuff you bringing out. You got to think about how this all comes together. You got to think about the best explanation for all of this new culture and stuff down there that resembles Levantine culture. You got to think about all that. And then if you think about it, you come to the conclusion where some people from the Levant migrated there. And it would be absurd to not include the Israelites at that point.
Exactly. And they don't want to acknowledge that. And I kept telling them E1B1A is not indigenous to sub-Saharan Africa. We wasn't there. And that's why Rob Bourne went to the Shumlaka or Cameroon grave sites, not grave sites, the fossil remains, and said he tried to say that we were always there 200,000 years. That's a fucking lie. That's not our DNA. That's A and B. We're not related to them. And I broke down that. Why did I have to sit there and break down what a haplogroup was? Because you niggas don't know what a haplogroup is. Y'all don't know. That's why I had to. Oh, that's boring. If I just say haplogroup, you're not going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? All right. So this says, according to Thomas, European slavery occurred differently in different religious contexts. For example, Christian law did not permit Jews to have Christians as slaves, although many Jews were slaves with Africans in the Spanish market. So you had Jews. You said what?
Nothing.
So you had Jews that were slaves in the Spanish market with Africans, right? So watch this. This is the part that part already shook them up. When I got to here, right here, about the European Christians that arrived in 1492, already accustomed to slavery, right here, it says, Archinegus, 1946, explained that at the beginning of the conquest, every Spaniard was allowed to take with him an enslaved person from his European community, and the number rose later to 20 enslaved people per Spaniard. So a Spaniard could bring at least 20 slaves with them during this time period. What does it say here? At that time, Jews purchased from the slave market were taken to Haiti. This is when they cut me off. I couldn't say shit else. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here, bro? Thank you, Al Qayyum. He says they don't want to think. They want to spew undisputed rhetoric. Exactly.
That's facts.
Exactly, bro.
Yo, mic check. You can hear me?
What's going on?
Yo, man.
Oh, that's Rob Bourne, man. What the hell,
Listen.
dude?
Yo, listen, man. I don't know why you paying attention to the chat. I don't look at the chat when I'm building with you, bro. Listen, man. Man, son. And don't say y'all. Every time I come around, you always got to remix of the story, bro. I never disrespected you. I let you talk. Never cursed at you. Never even raised my voice at you. All I did was ask you.
I said that, Rob Bourne.
I would disagree with the let talk part.
Excuse me?
He couldn't get I was watching it online. He couldn't get 2 sentences, especially during the part I watched. He couldn't get 2 sentences out without you interrupting. You even said one time, I'm going to mute my mic. Dude said 2 more words. You interrupted again. After you spoke, he tried to get another sentence out. You interrupt.
Bro,
hey, look, I'm just making a point.
I'm just making a point. Yo, bro, he just told you that none of that happened, what you're talking about. So
no, he didn't. We just finished talking about it live on our channel.
Well, he just said it right here.
No, I'm saying the cussing and disrespectful part. You did cut me off though, Rob Bourne.
Bro, we both cut each other off. But I'm like, yo, I want clarity. I'm like, yo, bro, who are these people? Are these Africans? Who are they? That was it. And then I asked you specifically, I just want the primary fact. What is the primary to that book? What is the primary saying that? And then you explained, I said, okay. And then he came in like, yo, come on, don't do that, bro. Don't come on here and say I interrupted you, I stopped you from building. Don't do that, bro. That's not right and exact, bro. I never did that to you, bro.
I observed it as well. You can say you didn't. You may feel you didn't. Look, you doing it right now. You doing it right now.
Because you niggas.
When you came on our show, we was already talking.
Yo, he gave me the link.
We let you get the link. All right, cool. We let you get. Can I finish a sentence? The same thing you was doing on your channel.
No, I wasn't. Stop lying on me, bro. Why
can I finish a sentence?
Make shit up, bro.
All right.
What's wrong with y'all, man?
Let him go ahead and cry and finish spazzing out, and then I'll speak.
I don't gotta cry, bro.
Well, can I finish a sentence?
Look, man.
Because you're illustrating it right now.
I'm not in my crib, Joshua. But if I was in my crib, I would do it on StreamYard. I'm not in my crib. I'm watching my mom dog now. I'm not home, so I don't have my computer with me. I cannot show my screen on StreamYard. I refuse to have a conversation where I cannot show my screen. I don't want to do that. We did that on Clubhouse. I mean, if you want to have a discussion, then we can continue it. We can do it. I'll make sure nobody's on the whistle now.
Nah, bro, that's dead, bro. Because what the brother said to me, bro, like that was like.
Why are you paying that any mind?
No, because man?
the brother, you didn't say worse shit to me, and I didn't say worse shit to you. Come on, get out of here, bro.
Still won't let you get a sentence out. We just finishing everything.
Can I talk to the man that I'm talking to, bro? You didn't say way worse shit to me, and I didn't say.
Not yours.
Here y'all go.
No,
y'all
I got you, but Rob Bourne
shit together, bro. Come on, bro.
Hold on, real quick.
I'm just saying, let Jushu finish what he's saying. That's all I'm asking.
Now, Rob Bourne, real quick. This is what I'm saying, right? I go on there. I show utmost respect to your channel. I go on the Zoom. I don't even know how to use Zoom. You know what I'm saying? I would ask you how to do the shit while we was live because I really don't know how to use it.
And I helped you do it, and you was good.
Right. And then the brother cut in while I was trying to make a point about the Haitian slave trade. And the brother made a statement that I'm not supposed to be there to give information. My information is boring. We're supposed to be here laughing at you because we getting high and we chilling.
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
no,
nobody's
no, no,
fool,
no,
bro.
no. He interrupted 2 times. So the first time he said, yo, when are y'all gonna get the people in the chat want to know when are you gonna talk about the Americas? I'm like,
Right.
yo, we gonna get to it, bro. You just probably came in late because that's how we started. There was 4 points that we was talking about on Clubhouse before we get here, so we gotta start with where we left off at. And that's how I did the conversation. Am I long? Did I come from left field with anything?
No, I
Only
never
thing I
said you
talked to,
disrespected. Hold on, bro. I just told D-Red when he was on here, Rob Moore didn't disrespect or curse me out or nothing like that. The disrespect was coming from Danny and a little bit coming from Saneb in the chat. And I'm like, bro,
yeah,
we
I
can
don't
have
know
a
what y'all
discussion.
was doing in the chat. They was just telling me James and them was attacking them in the chat.
But you gave them a wrench.
Those are this our channel. Saneb and me is
Okay,
MBK.
then
Each
so
one, that's our channel. What do you mean I gave them
then
a
they
wrench?
responsible for what happened. That's all
Yo,
we
bro,
saying.
they said that
y'all
you
channel.
niggas was spazzing on them in the chat. He said, yo, they
Nobody
was even
spazzed
saying
on
you.
him.
Nobody
Listen.
Danny,
They
no.
said,
Let me tell you what happened. Then you tell it. You want to say it. I was the one. He ended up kicking me out. That's why I left the chat, because Danny throws subliminals. He want to throw subliminals, talk down on you. But when you throw a straight jab at him right in his face, then all of a sudden you wrong. Oh, now you want to throw jab. You've been throwing subliminals the whole time, bro. I'm
yo,
just
I
not
don't
a
know
dude
what
that
y'all
throws.
was doing in
All
the
right, cool.
chat. I
I'm
don't
Yeah,
almost
we
done,
was being
Rob.
called
I'm almost done.
crackpots and
You
all
gotta
type
let
of
me finish
shit.
my
We
sentence.
ignored that shit. We
Yeah.
I was
ignored the
telling you,
crackpot statements
and I was
and shit. We
telling you,
ignored it.
son, I was telling you, Joshua.
Can I finish my sentence now?
Yo, what the fuck? These niggas going crazy over here. These niggas going nuts. You ain't going nowhere. Why are you blowing your horn, bro? Where you going?
Okay.
Yo, what I'm saying is, yo, I told you don't pay attention to the chat, bro. Fuck what them niggas talking about in the chat. You talking to me. Fuck them
They
niggas. I wasn't even
represent your
looking in the chat.
channel.
Bro,
It don't matter.
whatever
The audience
goes on in
sees
the
it.
chat.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so
Wait, let me finish. Look, come on, man, because I didn't even finish what I was saying the first time and you cut in. So what I'm saying is the chat, the people we're speaking to really is the audience. Y'all building, but it's supposed to be for the audience. When the chat is for the audience. So what's going on in the chat is directly being shown to the audience. They're looking at that. That's what the audience was more in the chat than y'all conversation. Period. If you look at the chat, it's clear. Because they
that's
in the
cool.
chat, all they
And
talking
it
about,
be,
we can't
and
follow
bro,
along. We don't get it. Go ahead.
Bro, anytime you see a debate and we showing sources and there's some shit like that, niggas is never in it for that. There's a certain amount of people who will be paying attention. And they will reach out to you and
But
say,
the problem
what
is
book
it's
you
the
is
niggas
that?
with the
That's
wrenches.
yo, now it's the niggas with the
You get what I'm
wrenches.
saying?
You
That's what we
arguing with
talking
niggas
about.
with the
Wait,
wrenches.
Seneb,
What that got to
does
do with
Seneb,
me and his
I got a question.
conversation, though?
Does Seneb have a wrench? Yes or
Yeah,
no question. Okay. Does Truth Storian have a wrench?
yes.
Okay.
And other
These are
people
the
got
people
wrenches. It's like
in
9
the
people who got it.
yeah. These are the people that are in the chat doing all the stuff Jashub is talking about. Is a direct reflection of your channel. We don't have people with wrenches in our chat trying to demean the person that we're going against during the debate. We don't do that. We never do that. But y'all do. Every
10%.
platform we go on with these Afrocentrics, it's the same type of stuff.
Bro,
And then
man.
when we be like, hey, come on our platform, they
Look,
be like,
I'm on
no.
here now. I made a claim in one of my videos. I told this brother here that I would never go on your platform ever. And then we had a chance to talk on Clubhouse, and you wasn't there. And we figured out what it was. Okay, there was a misunderstanding from the jump. That's why we even at this point to even have a conversation, bro. Come on, man. I don't have a problem discussing this. I don't have a problem doing it anywhere, anytime, as long as I got the time to do it. I don't have this issue. All of this other y'all guys, the Afrocentric community. So what? Niggas talking shit in the chat. That's what we
We're talking
do.
about your channel.
That's
Okay, that's our
fine.
point. That's our
cool,
point.
bro.
All right,
Okay,
cool.
Hey,
bro.
hey,
That's our point.
but Danny,
That's cool,
Danny
bro.
was out of line with that statement because I'm not there
I
wasting my
know,
breath.
bro. I
Hold
know,
on. Let me
bro.
say it, Robborn.
Yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
say
Go
it.
ahead, man.
If I'm not gonna go on somebody's platform where I'm subject to saying that what I'm saying is, oh, well, that's boring, and you not entertaining us, make us laugh, nigga. Like, no, I'm not gonna stay there after that, bro. Nah,
What did
I'm
I
not
say
there.
after that? What did I say after that?
I honestly
I
don't
say,
know because
bro?
I was like, I got to get the hell out of here
It's
before
I
still
I
a
said, yo,
remove my
reflection
nigga,
of
fucking
chill
y'all
out.
channel.
I
channel.
said, yo, Danny, chill the fuck out. Nigga, this me and this nigga talking. And then you left the shit. And actually, you ended the live, but you don't know how Zoom goes, so you think you ended the
Yeah, I
fucking
thought I was
live,
just
bro.
leaving. I didn't know I
Nah,
fucking
it's all
ended that.
go. Nah, it's okay. It's cool, bro. I don't have a problem with it. Know what I'm saying? But it's all good, man. If you want to have a conversation, I got to stay over here until, what's that, Sunday. Then she come back, and then I'll be back in my crib. She don't got Wi-Fi in her house. I don't know why. Very interesting.
So Monday.
All right, we can have a conversation. I don't got a problem with it. We can pick up right where we left off at, bro. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and then like Danny not paying attention because I was dealing with America when I brought up that DNA.
We get it, bro. That's fine. I'm cool with it, bro. When you go on, it's like if I go on your platform, if I'm having a discussion on your platform, everybody that follow you are gonna be saying something against people who in there that don't got that idea. That's gonna happen, bro.
No, I
So
know that.
fucking what? So what?
No, that's not a problem. When I went on Garfield channel, the whole chat was against me. That's not the issue. The brother said the purpose of me being there, that's what you missed, Robborn, was to be
I heard you.
laughed at and
That
entertainment.
wasn't
And
the
I'm not
purpose,
fitting the bill.
and you know that. Come on, cut it out, bro.
But if I
You
hold
talking
on,
to the dude. He specifically told you this is not my conversation. This is between you and Rob Bourne. And
so
you like,
why
no,
is he
but
talking? Like, bro, like why
but
is he talking to me though?
you then responded to him and say, yo, well, you here now, you saying this, that, and the third. Once he said that, cool. I mean, then I stepped away. Then I came back. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Oh, come on, man, chill. And then you gone.
Yeah,
Come on,
because
son.
I'm trying to do things more respectfully and not go off on people when they say silly shit like that. So I'm like, listen, it's best I leave this conversation because I ain't nobody's fool. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else to talk about after that. You saying my whole purpose here?
What was the reason why we went on live? Did you not ask to go live? Yes or no?
I did ask to go live, but I didn't ask to.
Was Denny in the clubhouse when he said let's go live? No. We know why
But
we
that
went
didn't mean
live.
he
We
knew
had a
that
mutual
Danny was gonna
understanding.
be in the chat
Listen,
down talking him. That
listen,
Seneb was
man.
gonna be
That's
in the
gonna
chat down
happen, bro. It's
talking him.
gonna
No, it's not, because on our channel it don't.
Yeah,
So don't tell us that. We don't have our people who are part of the source in the chat demeaning the person that we're up against. We'll wait till after the debate for that.
Yeah, and if I stay, I look like a damn fool.
Exactly.
I'm
And
like,
that's
yo,
what the audience see.
once he made that statement, he told everybody my purpose there was to entertain them because they getting high, they sit back, they chilling on a Friday. That was his words. And if I stay there, then I'm fulfilling what he just said. No, I'm nobody's fool. I'm not gonna sit there and be your fucking puppet. You know what I'm saying? And be your goddamn Cartoon Network. You got me fucked up. And that's why I left, because it's better for me to leave than sit up there and blow up, and then they can say, well, see how the Hebrews act? See how they act? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm gone.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past that. That's just the game plan on their side of the thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna debate, and y'all get in the chat and y'all just, you know what I'm saying, talk down on them so the audience will just laugh at him and make fun of him and not hear nothing he say. Because you sitting there presenting the source. Why are you presenting the source? They like, he ain't presenting no sources. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, it's a Harvard Medical School article right there on the damn screen.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That get me kicked out the chat because I'm pointing out. Like, hey, wait a minute. Y'all saying he lying. Okay, tell me one thing he lied about. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you Hebrews this, you Hebrews that. Okay, y'all throwing subliminals. Forget it. I'm gonna throw a straight jab though. It ain't gonna be no subliminal nothing. Oh, that's the way you want to play it? You want to be disrespectful? Well, damn, your subliminal's disrespectful too. You think just because you don't say it blatantly disrespectful, that don't mean it's not disrespectful? Stop it, bro. Y'all playing mind games with the audience. That's the thing. It's the people that suffer because of it. You know what I'm saying? Let all the information get out. Let the people disseminate the information. And then if you want to do a show afterwards, and when the debate's over, you want to make fun of people or say they don't know what they talking about, go ahead, bro. I'm not going to say that, but not in the middle of the debate before the information's out. And you got to let people finish, bro. More than a 2 or 3 words. Even here on this channel, he was doing it again. Every time somebody start talking, 2 or 3 say, "Nah, bro, it ain't that." No, like that chops up the conversation, so it's hard to disseminate.
Yeah, and I think it's done purposely. You know what I'm saying? Just for that reason, so people won't know what the point was in the beginning. You know, it's called Gish galloping. Is what happens. You try to make one point, and then like, well, what about this? What about that? What about King Tut, bro? We not talking about King Tut. We talking about Yaqub right now. We talking about Yaqub. That's a different dynasty. So, and then they'll move the goalposts again. So it's the audience is not going to be able to follow that. And then that's what exactly goes back to the other point. Oh, it's convoluted. It's convoluted because I got to touch on 1,000 points. You know what I'm saying? I got to touch on 1,000 points. I got to go all the way around the world to try to establish something because I can't even, bring out the point that I'm trying to bring out, which was I showed that Jews were being sold as slaves in Haiti. That's a big point because that shows a migration of Jews into America, which they don't believe Jews were a part of the slave trade. They think the slave trade was only one dimensional, and it wasn't.
And that part when you brought up about haplogroup E not being in West Africa, that was a big point until about 3,000 years ago. That was a huge point, but they don't even want to act like they don't want to acknowledge that either.
Right. And Seneb, if you watching, hit that link, man, because you was like, oh, the DNA disagrees with you. Nigga, you do not even read this shit. Y'all be lying, bro. Y'all do not even study. Y'all don't even care about DNA like that. Stop it. We actually study. We buy the material and we understand the material. That's why we can go into it impromptu. That discussion was impromptu, James. I didn't have nothing ready. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't sitting at home collecting stuff and like, yeah, I'm going to bring this up. I was just going off the dome and then picking up references. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go here next. He said the Cameroon thing. I'm going to bring up Cameroon. He talked about Jews here. I'm going to talk about the migration pattern because he said, well, how do we know who's a Jew? I said, well, we have to deal with the skeletal remains that were in that land that would have been the progenitors of the Jews. We have to start there. Oh, well, now we 10,000 years ago. Well, you got to go 10,000 years to find the progenitors. You can't find progenitors now with the progeny. You got to go back that far. So I started there and showed E1B1 in the land. I said E1B1. I had to break all that shit down. I can't just jump to the conclusion. Y'all don't even know this shit. You know what I'm saying? I got to bring all that shit out. Negroes was talking. Somebody said in the chat, we EM2, not E1B1A. That shows you Negroes don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. EM2 is a downstream mutation of E1B1A. Dumb. Sit down and listen and take notes and learn. You in school now.
It ain't nothing wrong with hearing somebody out, seeing what they got to say, take notes, go back, actually read the stuff, and then come with a scholastic argument that disagree with them, not just know you wrong. Because that's not an argument. I don't know if people realize that, but that's not an argument, know you wrong, or no, I don't like that. That's not an argument at all. You have to actually have evidence to support what you're saying. And not Wikipedia. I'm sorry. When someone brings you a Harvard Medical School article, you shouldn't be going to Wikipedia after that. That makes you look kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like come on, man.
The sister in the chat, I don't know. Like, I can't really speak on them. I don't know them. The Queen sister, whatever, she was saying I wasn't using sources. I'm like, you can see my screen, and this is from Nature. Mark Lipson is a geneticist. These are credible men that work in the field of genetics. What are you talking about not using sources? Sometimes y'all just say anything because it goes back to that church mentality. Anything that goes against your doctrine is the devil. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to see this video, I think the video is still up. Each one, teach one on YouTube and look up the video, Who Are the Black Americans? And y'all can see the whole.
I was just looking at trying to go back and look at the beginning, then that's when I seen y'all was already online.
Yeah. So y'all can all go watch that if y'all want. But nah, I left the chat at the end after Danny. I don't even know who Danny is, bro. Who the fuck is Danny?
He true story. He used to be inside Netta in them chats, always handling the wrenches and stuff. He used to be an Unc in them stuff too.
Right. I would like to challenge that dude to a debate on that because what he said was dumb. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing: it's
He
one
don't
thing to
debate.
disagree. He don't debate. Well, shut the fuck.
I
Like I
tried to
told
debate him
Chanel.
before one time because he was disagreeing with me and stuff, and he wouldn't even have a conversation.
Right, like with Seneb, I'm like Seneb, like he's saying, "Well, I don't argue with religious people." Then why are you arguing? Then stop arguing. You
I
just
didn't know
said
religious people use Harvard Medical School arguments articles to make scientific points. But okay,
exactly. We're trying to use academia to make our points. We're not in the Bible talking about. I think that's what they prefer, bro. Like Danny and what's the other brother name? Seneb. They want brothers that say Deuteronomy 28. We the wrong brothers. We don't do that. Deuteronomy 28. Genesis 7 and all that other stuff. We don't, that ain't how we frame our arguments. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, Rabon, man, tell Chanel and Danny that we can have a debate on that. You know what I'm saying? Whenever.
Bro, if you know one thing about true historian, he doesn't have these conversations. He only has this conversation that people talk shit to him. So if you want to have that conversation, continue talking shit, and then he will oblige you. Shanab doesn't have a problem. He's always like that. The problem, the issue here is we specifically teach the history of black people in America. I don't give a fuck if they Jews. I don't give a fuck if they Moors. I don't give a fuck what they are. What was these people doing? How did they use it? What's the origin of it? And that's it. That's it. The discussion me and you are having is, and we didn't even get to all of it because I wrote everything down while we were talking on Clubhouse. I'm writing everything that we're talking about. We ain't even get to finish the Sephardic build. You say they Africans, I say they're not. We got to talk about that. Put primaries up to see who they are. Then you led to something else saying that 60% of the 12.5 million people who came across this transatlantic slave were Israelites. And you're basing this again off of this haplogroup. We didn't even get to none of that, bro. I'm saying I wish you would have stayed there so we could have continued on doing what we was doing. I mean, as far as the Bible thing you just talked about, as far as we prefer to talk to Deuteronomy 20, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyone that says that or says that majority of us is this and we that and we this, fine. The question is, where are they? And that's what we asked. We had it on there. We didn't even get to finish talking
I was
about.
trying to answer.
We didn't get to finish, bro. We didn't even get
I
to finish
know because
talking
your
about
boy
Israel
said I
or the
was there.
approximate. We ain't do none of that. I
Because your
wrote all
boy,
this down, bro. Everything that we talked about on Clubhouse in that matter of a minute, that's what was taking me long to go live. I was writing all of that down. I wrote
right?
all 7 points down so that we can have that discussion. And then after that, ain't nothing else for us to talk about at this point. That's why I don't talk to Tazariak no more about this shit. I don't have that conversation with him. Nigga, I don't agree with you. I don't care about your Deuteronomy 20. But I do respect the origin of your movement because I know where it came from. You don't represent that now, but I like those people. That's it. What we gonna keep talking about? I'm never gonna believe you about Abraham being real. I'm never gonna believe you about Jacob. You're gonna continue. What the hell I'm gonna be talking to you about 7, 8 years later? The same goddamn thing. Is Black history just in that little pocket? Are we just in the pocket of Jews and Moors and fucking whatever niggas
No,
want?
we're
That's
not.
it. That's
No,
all we got.
no, we're not. And I never said that. But
I
the
didn't
the
say you
art,
said it, but look at what we are talking about. And that's why I said, you know what? Since we had this conversation, let's just get this shit over and going. You looking at my thing. I got over 150 presentations just on one thing. Not on that, but just on Black people, period. So they like, yo, James said you're a Google scholar. I showed 2 things from Google that's in my presentation.
I got you. I just want to show this real quick to clarify.
But Ashkenazi niggas, the fake
Yes, the
ass
African,
niggas,
yes, the African DNA amongst them, right
yeah,
here.
they
Hold
fake.
on, let me bring it out.
They
So
fake,
this,
right?
no, all Ashkenazis are not fake. I never said that.
Oh, so those niggas is original?
Yeah, because they DNA's in the land. I
So,
did a
so
video on it. Hold
oh
on,
shit.
bro.
So I didn't know you agree with that. My bad.
Yeah. So watch this. This is why chromosome lineages in Cabo Verde, and I referenced this. Like I can't go to every reference while we building. It'll take 8 hours. But I referenced this, right? You can clearly see this National Library of Medicine is where I'm getting this from, bro. Because somebody in your chat said I wasn't showing sources. What I don't know what the hell they watching. But this in the abstract, it says right here, in addition, the considerable proportion, 20% of E3B EM81 lineages indicates a possible gene flow from the Middle East or Northeast Africa, which at least partly could be ascribed to the Sephardic Jews. So you got African DNA that can be ascribed to the Sephardic Jews. That's what I was referencing when you asked me in your channel, are these people Africans? Genetically, they are.
Okay, so with that, who is the people on Cape Verde Island, brother?
Cape
For the
Verde Island,
Portuguese, because we talking about the Portuguese. This is who we talking about. The
you
Portuguese.
talking
go
about a
there.
couple people. You talking
No,
about a
I
couple
get it,
group of
but
people.
who we ain't gotta go through none of that. All I'm gonna say is that shit. There's no people there, bro. That point on those islands represent a part of the slave trade. So if you have these people here and they're mixing with these people, etc., that's what happened. The same thing happens in Curacao. The same thing. So when you
Right.
so when you looking at this, right, and they having sex with these women, etc., and you looking the same thing at Curacao, when you looking at that island, you see the same thing. So if we even look at, let's say, America, and we look at the Native American DNA that Africans share, we can see the time frame and the historical interaction between the two. I mean, so I didn't know. I thought you was using the same book that what's his name? Oseen, when he did, what is it called? New Genealogy. I gotta go look. I got the book. But he basically dismisses these fucking Ashkenazi niggas. He said these niggas is later on convert niggas. I wouldn't recognize them niggas as being no motherfucking they not from the Levant. Them niggas converts. Them niggas is not the real niggas from the Middle East. Now,
Yeah, that's true. That's the
if you're talking
haplogroup J
about them
brothers.
sharing DNA, I mean, like like the African nigga is everywhere. So yeah, but I wouldn't put those niggas. Them niggas ain't from the Levant. Them Ashkenazi niggas is later on convert fake niggas. I didn't know that you was rocking with that. That's crazy.
No, yeah. The haplogroup, the ones with haplogroup J, the Ashkenazi with haplogroup J, they come later. They come from the Caucasus. I know that they fake, but I'm talking about those with the E markers that would have came from the Natufians. They related to
Yeah,
Natufians.
but how are you relating them to Natufians, brother? How are you
Because
relating a German or this German, they really
I
Germanic
wish,
tribes? How are you relating that to Natufians, bro?
yeah, but all of them not Germanic tribes. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
It's a hodgepodge of people. Those
Yeah,
with the E
Germanic
mark,
tribes don't have E markers, brother.
yeah.
What you said?
Germanic tribes do not have E markers.
Okay. Okay. So genetic tribes and none of these people in the mix nowhere in history were Africans. Is that what we
We're
saying?
not saying that either. We're not saying they
But
probably
you talk
did.
about it, you're making it seem like they were indigenous Germanic tribes, and that's how you describe them. These Germanic people, you're describing them as if they're indigenous. You said they didn't have nothing to do with the Near East. The E marker is responsible for spreading farming all over the Near East. So they have a direct connection to the Near East. They're responsible for spreading farming all over the world, matter of fact. So they have a
Okay.
direct connection.
Okay. So it's interesting because in that same article that you love to use when it talks about gene flow in Europe, when you look at the Europe part, that says something real different. So okay. Hey man, if the
Hey, you
Ashkenazis
need
is
to
your
listen to
brothers,
Miss
nigga, that's
Gorgeous,
fine.
man.
That
She
nigga
made a
don't
great
belong.
point.
Fuck them niggas. Them niggas ain't real to me. I would take anybody from the Levant. I'll take the dark skinned niggas over there. All of them. Them white people, them niggas that's running around. I'm not them niggas, y'all. That's crazy, bro. I didn't even know y'all was on that type of time. Fuck them niggas. They don't like you today. They look at you as a curse. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I don't fuck with them that
Fuck them
I'm not
niggas,
with no
bro.
anti-blackness, bro. Anybody teaching anti-blackness, I don't fuck with them. But it don't matter if I don't fuck with them though. Genetically, we are related to those people, regardless. Like the Fulani were known for what? Enslaving other Africans, but we still related to them.
I
You know
mean,
what I'm
like,
saying?
yo, genetically, all people are related to some type of African. Like, it's gonna be a time frame that's in there. I didn't look into that. I don't really give a fuck about an Ashkenazi. You you know who I really like to argue with, Joshua, and you just happened to be on Clubhouse when I was doing it. I argued with the Europeans. You saw what they were saying. While these niggas arguing amongst each other, who's the right Israelite and all this, or who's what's the right law, and is all of Israel saved,
And
or is
Rabon, who
just the
supported
Christians?
you?
I don't do that. I talk to the
Rabon,
white man, and you
Rabon, who
saw
supported you
exactly
that
what
day?
I did to all of them white European Jews up there. I made them niggas submit.
But Rabon, who was supporting you that whole time and fighting right there with you?
Nah. You happened to come across it. You was like, oh shit. Yeah, nigga, that's what I like to talk to the white man. I want to talk to you niggas. I didn't get knowledge of self like that. That's not how I was taught. I don't know how you were taught. That's not how I was taught. I know who the enemy is. I'd rather fuck them niggas up all day. I do that shit all the time with them on there. Who want to smoke? But you know, I say we 10 years later. I haven't known y'all for 10 years. I know y'all probably 5, 6. Y'all probably knew James longer than between James and D Red. I probably knew them the longest. I think James a little earlier from Facebook. I can't remember. But if we 7, 8 years down the line and we having that same fucking conversation, bro, niggas ain't going nowhere. You're just gonna have to disagree to disagree, bro. We can have a conversation though. Like, yo, all right, this is my information, this is your. It don't got, yo, you scared, your scholarship, nigga, get out of here, son. Nobody's scared of nobody. Just have the conversation and get it over with. Once it's over with, what else you want to talk to me about?
I'm just calling out, brothers.
Once we have this conversation, what else will there be for me and you to talk about?
Nothing. I'm not even on that. But what I am saying, if brothers are saying make certain things, I would like them to step to the forefront and debate me. Seneb and Danny. That's what I'm saying.
Danny smoke, bro.
Man, bring
Stop,
Danny
bro.
over here, bro. I'm gonna kill that nigga, bro.
Yeah, shoot, you don't want
you saying that, but just bring him over here. I'm not a big talker, bro. I just want to debate. That's it.
Bro, trust me, bro.
Yes,
like,
I want Danny. I want that nigga head on a charger.
You don't want to do that, Joshua.
I just told you again. I want that Negro's head on a charger.
I don't even want. D-Red been there. I've been around that dude for like 6 years, bro.
I smoked that nigga,
and I'm
Danny.
gonna tell you this straight up. I'm gonna tell you this straight up right now, bro. And all that information you ever saw Garfield talk about when it's not about the Bible, about Black history, all that shit come from Danny. All that shit you start seeing me talking about 4 or 5 years ago, that comes from him. I'm telling you straight up right now. That man, when it comes to Black American history in West Africa, that nigga is symbolic to John Henry Clark. I am telling you that straight up.
Got you. I want to debate,
that, bro.
I want to debate. Like, that's not gonna deter me.
Man.
Tell him to come over here. We're gonna set this debate up, bro.
What are you gonna debate him about, brother?
What he disagreed. The brother was like, oh, what I'm reading, I'm not misinterpreting nothing. I'm reading it verbatim, like what it says.
Okay, brother. Hey, man.
If you want to debate about Jews being in the slave trade, we can do that.
You have at it, bro. I give people props. I don't usually do that. I'm telling you, son. I ain't never met nobody in this conscious community like that dude ever. There is no one when it comes to that subject. You talking about a dude that been doing that for 30, 40 years, working at it, changing shit in school curriculums. Bro, that's different. That's why he don't like talking to people, because it becomes retarded at this point. I'm not saying you retarded, but he like, yo, how come we keep talking about this and our history is so bad, bro? You know.
Well, he need to be quiet and let us have the discussion. I didn't come over there to talk about nothing else. He need to be like, okay, let me mind my business. He didn't do that. Came in there and he stuck his nose in it. So now, bro, you're gonna have to come over here and debate. That's it. Nothing else. Talk about it. Whoever. I didn't even know who Danny was until then. Okay, well, come over here. That's debate. Come to the source and debate.
Okay. Hey, man. To each his own, man.
Because watch this. I'm gonna share my screen. I read this to him, and the dude got all pseudo about it. Right here, it says what it says. At that time, Jews purchased from the slave market was taken to Haiti. And this is what he had a problem with. I didn't write this damn book. I don't have the author in my pocket.
He asked you the same problem I have with it. My problem with that is, are those people Africans?
Yes, I
Okay,
answered that
where's the?
twice.
I remember you said that, right? So I said, you see what I did when I showed my shit. I got those things are in books and stuff, right? But I don't go to the book. I like to go. That's what we do over there. We try to tend not to use books as much as possible. We want to go directly to the primary. So that thing that I'm showing you, the first Africans in the Americas, that's my shit. But it's all primaries. Ain't no from the book. So what I'm asking you is, what is the primary to show that those people are Africans and not your European type Jew? That's all
That
I asked, and that's what
they
he's
are.
saying.
Well, hold
That's
on.
all.
First of all, he doesn't understand what makes someone African. I use Mutazers.
No, we cool with your E1B.
He,
We all
he
cool. We
not. He don't
understand
know
that
what an
argument.
African is. He don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to you now. I understand what you're saying, my brother. I don't have an issue with you talking about E1B1A. That source that is on there. What is the primary to that? And show us that these people are African. That's
Yes.
it. The
So we
same
know.
thing I did to you, right? You told me that I told you in 1501 they banned Jews and things to come here. Here's the primary, here's the law. And they put it in 1501, 1586, 1526, 1536. This is the primary coming directly from Spain. They don't want them. They specifically say only niggas that's coming to America is black Christians. Those are the first blacks to come to the Americas were Christians. Right? So I'm showing you. Here's the dude that's documented. The first black person of African descent to come to the Americas is with Columbus, and his name is Juan Portuguese, the Christian. That's primary. We can't go nowhere else. This is what it is. So if you're saying
Hold
that,
on, real quick,
that's
Robborn.
cool. That's
Hold
all.
on, real quick. Omnipotence. You got.
What's omnipotent?
This is probably a white Jew. You got
Nah,
a
man,
minute.
fuck them dudes, bro. Leave them niggas alone, man.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on, no, because he's making statements. You got a minute to hit that link and come on here and address me. You got a minute, and I do mean a minute. So go ahead and click that link. All right, as you were saying.
I'm good. I ain't got nothing else to say. Just like all I'm telling you is when you doing that, all the question was to show us that those are African Jews. That's it. And you saying E1B1A, that's not. I'm like, okay. Then I asked you. I said, oh shit, you got the remains of those people or that community or those Jew hate. I didn't know that. So I thought you was about to produce that. I don't know. I'm just asking you a question about what you showed. When I'm showing you shit, everything I showed you, besides two things that come from Pacific books, all of that shit, primary shit, Spanish records. Nigga got to go retranslate that shit and put it in the joint because the shit ain't in English, and that's what I had to do to get that.
Right, but it's a known fact because you determine what DNA people have through sample sizes, and it's a known fact that haplogroup E1B1B and E1B1A is among the Sephardic. I just showed you a
I
scientific
feel you,
article on
brother.
that.
I'm with
So
you.
the hold
I'm
on,
with you.
Rob Bourne, let me
I'm with
finish.
you. I'm with you.
So showing that they were being sold, the Sephardic Jews that would have our DNA being sold
Mhm.
to Haiti is proof that we were being sold, or our ancestors or our people were being sold to Haiti
I
amongst
feel
that
you,
Jewish
but
population.
that's where we're gonna have a problem, brother. The problem is the primary. How are you determining that those are Africans, bro? Do,
I
do
just
you have the do you have the bone DNA of this specific group that went there? Do you have that? If you don't have that, you are now going to a different argument to say, well, we could look back and see that some of these people have an E haplogroup. So I'm gonna suppose that these people are African. We have Sephardic Jews who are European, bro. So like, what are we supposed to do? And this is what I was going to show. I was going to show these are the Sephardic communities that come to the Americas. I was going to show you the niggas in Haiti. I was going to show you their pictures. I was going to show you all of that. I'm like, yo, these niggas, these the African niggas? You know what I mean? Like, yo, seriously? Like, how much DNA do they have that makes these people African looking like they are? I got their pictures. I got where they live at. I got their plantations. I got their cell. I got all of that, bro.
right, and
Primary,
we
all
got
of it.
that DNA. We got that
Cool, you
DNA.
can
We
put it
know that
up.
genetic
Oh,
matrix.
so I think I get where you coming from. So you saying that because these people have whatever percentage of African DNA that makes them African. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, that's what
Okay,
makes
I
you
got you.
African
Now I
genetically.
understand where you're coming from. Okay,
Yeah, it has nothing to do with how they look. But we do have black
I
Jews.
got you, brother. I'm cool. So them Europeans, them niggas that look like Europeans because they got African DNA, those niggas is African. It doesn't matter how
Yes.
they look. I got you. Okay.
Well, I
So
mean, I would.
your job would be with this one. The next time we have this conversation, when we put up this community of Jews who were sold to Haiti. I mean, you're gonna have to show us the DNA of those people. Show us these people.
Already did. We know the
No,
Sephardic DNA genetic gene pool. We know it
okay.
already. Like,
I
that's not
feel you.
a
I feel you,
mystery.
brother. So are all Sephardic Jews haplogroup E, bro?
No, no one's saying that. But a
So
part of
how do you
30,
know? But how do you know that those people who were taken to were out a sample from those people? How do you know that? Wow, how could you
because
make that claim?
the Cape Verdean samples that we saw.
Oh,
That
so now you're
E30,
gonna go to a different community. Okay,
yes, because that's the source population. The
okay,
Sephardic Jews over there. They didn't
okay.
pop up in Haiti. They came from somewhere else.
So the
We know
first
their genetic
Jews,
makeup.
when did these Jews go to Haiti, brother?
After post 1492, I read it in
No, I
the
get it.
source.
What's post? Give us a
Post
reference.
1492, when they first started coming over here. So the
1492.
Spaniards, hold on, in the source it says the Spaniards were able to bring at least one servant, and then eventually came up by 1500 to 20 servants. And
Right, and here's the interesting thing about it.
amongst these, amongst,
Yeah,
amongst
I'm rocking with you with this, right? Now here's the issue. All of those people who came with Columbus, those people that were with this people, they described them. They be like,
Mhm.
this guy is black. This guy is a Jewish slave. If these Sephardic Jews are black, and why they don't say that in the records, bro?
Got you. We do have records of Sephardic Jews being called black. That's
No,
not
no,
my argument,
I'm
but we
cool
do
with
have
that
records
point.
like that.
I'm cool with that, Joshua. I'm just saying, on the wreckage of Columbus expeditions, they
Mhm.
described the cabin boy, they described the Diego brothers. That one is a little weird, but they do that as well because we playing verse semantic with Negro, Negar. They supplied the other. They describe them. Then they get even deeper when you get past 1501 to La Espanola and 1505. They start talking about they need to bring more black women there because they want to keep this population reproducing. And then they go get the people of African descent and bring them there. What I'm saying is, in these primaries, they describe the people who are black who come with them on purpose. And whoever was a Jew, which that wasn't supposed to go after 1501, because that was the rule. No, I read it to you. The primaries, no Jews, nobody under any circumstances, no Jews, no Moors. And they redid that decree 7 times. So it could be a reason they saying that. Maybe some Jews came. And maybe they like, no, we don't want this over here. We want to make this some Christian shit. That is a possibility, my brother. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in the primary records of this, when somebody is black on these voyages, they describe them. When they describe all of the conquistadors, from Juan Garrido to Sebastian Torral to Valentine, they tell you these niggas is African. They tell you.
Yeah, but
So I
you
mean,
got
this is
family,
a
you got
dope. This is
Sephardic
a dope.
families.
I feel you, but this is a dope story because now we realizing the first people who come here are black Christians. The first black people who come here are not slaves. Then you see the second part. That shit is a dope ass story. These niggas told us that all of us were slaves, bro. This shit is dope to me. I love this shit, bro. I'm just asking for the primary, fam.
Got you. So again, on touching on that, right? You do have what you need to look up is when we talk about black people, which is not an argument because you got black people with different haplogroups, different genetic background. I would look into the Hale family in Tennessee, which is a known Sephardic family. All of his descendants were called colored people or black. So I would look into that if you want to look for somebody that's black. Captain John Law which is a Scottish Jew, he was also described as being black. I told you about the brother that was the second grandmaster of the African
Yeah,
Lodge.
we ain't even get to talk about Prince Sanders too. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a deadly one. So before we have that, go look him up again. I told you to put the look up.
I'm giving you a couple references
No,
here.
I
I mean,
get
these
you.
are
I
real
get with
people.
you. But what we really trying to get at is these people that you saying in the slave trade. We want the primary for those. Those are other things that we're gonna get to. And that's why when I started my conversation, I showed you the Jews that are in Carolinas. And I showed you the black Jews. I did that on purpose. I said, here's a black Jew. He's only known by Paul the Jew. They don't call him nothing else. All of the black community called this man Paul the Jew. And then they tell you why he's a Jew. Because his family were slave traders. And he was an owner. I'm not a slave trader, but owners of slaves. Excuse me, that was incorrect. And there's like 10 of them in there. And they tell you their whole life, and they tell you how these people are this. They say they're Israelites too, by the way. Joshua, those black Paul the Jew in 1850 said he is an Israelite. Key common denominator, his family slave owner was a Jew. That's why I started like that. I don't have a
Got
problem
you,
with it.
but there's
We
no
can get it in.
history. There's no history tying to the brother that was the second grandmaster of the African Lodge saying that he converted. There's no, you have
You
no
keep
document.
you keep saying that, and I'm gonna
Show
show it
me.
to you when we
Can
go
you,
live. I gave you an out on Clubhouse. I said, "Are you sure this is what you want to say?"
I'm 100%
And
positive.
then I said, "Okay." And then I specifically told you that he was baptized and he was a Christian. So
Yeah, that's
somewhere
fine.
down
But
the
I'm saying
line,
he's a
hold,
Jew.
hold on, brother. Somewhere down the line, he became a Jew because originally he's a Christian. He's a part of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, brother. I told you this before. So, you know,
Got you.
somewhere
Got you.
down the line, he
But
becomes a
his,
Jew. That's
well,
your job to
you
figure out when that happens.
but all I know is this: you're not going to be able to give any conversion papers on this guy. All we
Okay,
do
that's
know is
fine.
that he was a Jew. The
When
hell,
he pops up in the historical record, he is a Christian and he has his own papers telling you that he is a person of African descent. Yo,
yes,
bro, did you even read anything? This is crazy, bro.
got you.
It's all
So
good though, Joshua.
Rob on,
What's
let
up,
me
brother?
let me talk, bro.
What's up?
So when we deal with this individual, we know what he identified as. Everything
Yeah,
else you're saying, like I
that's
will look at the
fine.
information
That's cool.
and then I'll recant if it's true. But
Okay.
the information that I have been privy
That's
to
cool.
shows
I'm
him to
with
be a
you.
Jew. You're
I'm
not with
with you,
me,
brother.
Rob. No,
That's
we're not
fine.
being facetious. You're not with me on that. We got different opinions.
That's
Um,
cool.
but if you look at the Hale family too, like I said, these will be black Sephardic Jews too. So I would look up James Hale in Tennessee and his colored descendants. You
Okay.
know, if you're looking
That's
at
cool,
color.
man. That's cool. I'm with you there. I'm with you. Yeah, well, we can have it. We can pick up right where we left off at. And where we left off at, we left off on the Haitian niggas. So we got to pick up there, and then we're gonna talk about Sephardics, and then we can talk about Prince Sanders, and then we're gonna get back into who's black people in the Americas. That's an ill question to talk. That shit is ill.
But
Who is these black people?
we
What
know who the
qualifying
black
markers do we use?
we do know who the black people in America because we know the genetic matrix of black people. So, like I said on your show, 60% today, not 12 out of 12.5 million, out of the 40 million black people here, 60% of the males are E1B1A. So we know who they are.
Yeah, we know about the EM2, we know about the split. That's fine. That's genetically, brother. Like I'm telling you, like I don't know why when I make this argument you have an issue with it. I'm confused because if I'm looking at this EM2 marker and I'm looking at all of the cultures in West Africa that has it, you'll have these people that practice voodoo. They have their own lineage, their own oral traditions, their own God, everything. That same lineage, you can find it in Igbo land. They have their own culture, different ancestors, different everything. They have their own oral traditions of who they people are, who lived, who's the great ancestor to them, and these things of that nature. So when I'm bringing this up, I'm like, yo, bro, just because people have this, how could you relate that to being an Israelite? So like that doesn't make sense to me, man. It doesn't, because if you're looking at that EM2, you seeing it in Ghana. You see what we gonna do, bro? We look at Ouagadougou. We can look at it. What do we find in their caves in their oral tradition? They say their great ancestor was Dongbi, the serpent, and then they said they were bringing people in them caves. The Europeans said sacrificing. We ain't find no bones, so we don't know about that. But they were going there. This is what they were doing, bro. Know what I mean, so it's like I'm very confused about that argument, bro. I'm very confused about it.
Well,
It's
it's
just
easy.
confusing to me.
Let's bring it. Let's use you, Rob Bourne.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you had a child in East Asia, and 500 years pass, and your child continue to have children, and your progeny exists 500 years later, that child, most of his culture is going to be East Asian. It has nothing to do with whether or not they descend from you or not. Those are still your children. That's still your progeny. They still came from your loins, even though they picked up a culture or may have a culture that you were not familiar with.
Right. Now,
So that's what we're saying.
I 100% agree with you with that, but my child is going to know the history of our lineage because I'm going to tell him. So when we look at the black people who wrote for themselves, right here in America, starting from the 1700s, going all the way down, they tell you who they are, bro. They tell you where they from, and if they can remember their tribe, such as Martin Delaney, he'll tell you my grandfather's name is Shango. I'm from the Madinka tribe. So the further we go back here, you'll see people doing that. And this is what I'm saying about looking at the culture. So see how you brought up that guy, you brought up Nero Prince, right?
Nero Prince.
Right. So the first holiday that Africans are celebrating in America is in 1741, and it's called Negro Election Day. All of the names of those rulers, they were actually black governors. So they would do this on the same day as the Europeans did Election Day, but we would pick our own leaders to govern us. This is why they were called black governors. So you will have Nero Brewster, Nero Prince, 1741, man. You have all of these, and these were real royalty people who came directly from West Africa, and they would pick their ruler by wrestling and doing these things of that nature, right? I bring this up to say we wrote, and you can see the culture, and they telling you who they are. We don't gotta guess. We can use DNA, but if I erase that and I'm looking at the people who will know exactly their lineage way better than we ever would, they telling you who they are, bro. Their culture is manifesting who they are. None of them, when you look at the majority, none of them are saying this, bro. If it was, I would be the first one to say it. It's like we gotta put our bifocals on to find these Jews, bro. When we look at the majority of the black people in the community, we don't have to do that. We seeing them do the culture, bro. I don't get it unless we saying that because they was removed so far from this time frame that they knew they were this, but they just forgot the culture. Then you know what I mean? I guess
We've been
that's what
saying
it
that
is.
forever, though.
If that's what you're saying, you know. That's all though, man. I think it's a good conversation to have. I don't got no issue with you, bro.
Let me ask you a question, though, Rob.
I ain't like you trolling me though, nigga.
Let me ask you a question quick, because I don't understand this. It doesn't
I
make
can't
sense
hear
to
you.
me.
I can't hear you. You gotta talk louder.
Okay.
Hey,
Is
James.
he still there, Genesis?
Yeah, he there. He trying to get his volume right.
No, I switched my hold on, let me cut off my phone.
Whatever you doing now at work, whatever you just did.
Nah, I was on my phone at first, but I'm back in I just walked back through the door, so I hopped on my computer. What I was saying is it doesn't make sense to me that culture would be a better way of tracking lineage than DNA. That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. What makes you assume that that's a logical way of finding out who descends from who? Because cultures can be transmitted to a whole different lineage of people. For instance, I live in America, okay? At best, even though I do my best to practice Torah as I can claim to be Hellenized at best, and Hellenized Jew with a lot of American culture, because that's what I grew up in. That's what I know. That doesn't mean I'm European, though. Like, I'm not European at all. My lineage makes it very clear I'm not European. So culture doesn't dictate my lineage. My actual DNA does.
I don't got a problem with that, and I never made that argument whatsoever. I never said that we should not use genetics to trace population movements. Never said that whatsoever.
But when we do, y'all discount it.
What I'm saying is you're operating out of the realms of just how histography works. And what I
Why
mean
is
by
that?
that, UNESCO specifically termed this statement, and they talk about the immaterial culture, right? So when we have these arguments with multiple different people, the European would say that we didn't bring anything with us. We don't have no culture. We don't have nothing. So what did they do? Did they look at DNA? No, they know we from Africa. The records tell you that. You don't even have to use it. We have the manifesto to tell you where the people came from.
Wait a minute. This is to the key of what I'm questioning to you, though. This is like to the key of what I'm questioning. I'm saying this is like to the key of my issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Records, I mean, a person can say I'm from anywhere on a record, okay? Whether it's actual something that's recognized as actual historical documents. Like, for instance, there's historical documents that say that Alexander, that the actual sea parted for Alexander the Great to go across the sea. This is a part of an actual historical record. Now, do you believe the actual sea parted like for Moses, for Alexander the Great to go apart? But this is part of a historical record. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so people can say anything in a record, but the lineage is scientific. It's no way around that. That's I'm about to close it off right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
That would be kind of like me going in and saying Ricky Vance Cassell Sr., that's my dad's name, is not my father, even though I'm 99.9% DNA say he's my father. It's like me saying it's not because
that's the guy
we practice different types of culture.
Right?
Huh?
That your father's from you say he's from Yoruba tribe or something like that, right?
No. My godmother is Yoruba.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, my
godmother.
Remember, see? Now my father's an American black guy.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was just making a point. It'd be like, me saying he's not my father because we practice two different cultures.
I feel you. I feel what you're saying, and I 100% agree with that, but it doesn't fit this. That's like this, right? If we look at the Gullah people, why do these people study the Gullah people apart? Because they were on those sea islands and they were able to retain their culture almost untampered with. So when the Gullah people are telling you their culture, the tribes that they're from, this is not written. This wasn't told to them. They like, yeah, we are the Kisi, we are the crew, we are this. Then when you have a black linguistic that comes along, Dorenzo D. Turner, and finds 1,400 words in there, and we see that they come from these direct languages that's in these places, and we seeing that they are manifesting this culture, then this is what we use. These are these people.
So that disqualifies them from a more ancient culture?
Nothing doesn't disqualify DNA. You can use it. There's nothing.
No, I'm not asking DNA right now.
What I'm saying is you want to you trying to erase cultural markers.
No, I'm not.
Like it doesn't mean nothing.
What cultural marker did I try to erase? Name one.
You said, why am I using what black people said for themselves versus?
No, I didn't say that. I said anybody, and I didn't even give an example of a black person when I gave the example.
No, you gave
anybody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I used the Greek.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that anybody can say anything.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the DNA can't be argued.
No, I have no argument with that. And then this was what my original conversation with the brother, why I opened up with. There is no haplogroup of a Jew, bro.
That's your opinion. I think that there's.
I mean, that's fine, but he answered me. He was there.
I know that's fine, but can I answer? Can I respond? Is a whole audience, only one person. We have diverse opinions. You can say that, but when they study the diverse Jewish population, see that they mix within outside population from the majority haplogroups they're in, and then that outside population mixed with the Jews in Iran, it starts to become a least common denominator pointing to one direction. And that one direction has unanimously, even when you look at the article from the Jewish people in Forward magazine, they admit the genetic link to all the diverse Jewish populations is African DNA. And when we look at what that African DNA is, it's closely related to Yoruba, but it was studied against most of the West African peoples and found that they carry this genetic signature. So I mean, I don't see how anybody can come in and make an argument that an entire population that clearly had to be admixed with sub-Saharan African is not
I
sub-Saharan.
I feel what you're saying, and that's why I threw up 3 scientific articles that says there is such thing as a Jewish haplogroup, and they all updated.
How
And
old
I
is the
brought it
article?
up, and here's the point, right? I mean, you said you was in there, you saw it. I put it on the screen. You
No,
go
I
back
didn't
and
say I
watch.
saw everything. Please don't put that in my
Oh, my
mouth.
bad. You ain't see
Can I
everything.
touch
My
on the
bad.
Exactly
article
what I
real
saw.
quick?
So what I just wanted to say is this, right?
I want to bring clarity to that article real quick, Rob Bourne, because the article is saying that because there's no consanguinity amongst modern Jews, meaning a lot of them have different haplogroups, but they all claim to be Jews.
I
That's what
get
the
that.
article
That
is saying.
we cool with that. And all I'm saying is this,
But the
bro.
autosomal points to
Yeah,
something else that
all
there
I'm
is a
saying is
link.
this, bro. Like Joshua, James, can you tell me the haplogroup of a Jew? What is the Jewish
Okay,
mark?
the common denominator based on the
Uh-huh.
article. Wait a minute, this is the common denominator based
Uh-huh.
on the article. It all points to E1B1A, all
Okay.
of it.
Okay. So now with that being said, who is the group that the people that were sub-Saharan African, when they went to that region, who did they admix with to make the Jew? Who is that group?
They admixed with the indigenous people that were already there. Some of them carried J markers. Some of them carried pre-pottery Neolithic
Right.
markers.
So
So
right,
okay,
right. So
but
now,
those
so
wait a minute.
right, right,
Let me
right.
finish. Let me finish this off. And those are the main groups that we're seeing today claiming to be Jews. But then you have this outside DNA, E1B1A, that's in the area that's not related to anyone, just like their historical narrative says. And when the historical narrative is lining up with the archaeology, I have to give this historical narrative credence.
I feel what you're saying. So with that being said, brother, 2021, 2020, 2017, they found multiple bones of the people that are called the Canaanites in this region.
Okay. Is there a point that comes after that?
We probably lost them.
Oh, okay.
But to touch on that article, and I can pull it up on the stream. Those were Hurrians. If you read the article, it tells you what they were. They were Hurrians, and they had haplogroup J, showing that those people that claiming to be Jews with haplogroup J that's a no-go. They not the real people. And that's the beauty of genetics. It really delineates everybody. Like we were talking about African Americans earlier, James, and I was like, okay, if these African Americans came on slave ships, that don't necessarily mean that we the same. We just got a shared experience. And I think what happens in the black community is that we confuse shared experience with common ancestry. That's 2 different things. I think we got them back here.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know. You was talking and then you disappeared.
So I was saying we got 3 different finds over there in Israel and what is originally Palestine, and they show you all of these Canaanite remains, and it goes from I believe 3500 to 1200 BCE. So
Okay.
this is the time frame where this thing is
So right
supposed to
before the
happen.
Israelites established themselves.
Right,
Mhm.
1200 BC, around there. So this is when this time frame in that Bronze Age where this is supposed to happen. The DNA matches with the Lebanese people there, some Arabs there, and that area right there, right? So my
Mhm.
thing with you is this, bro. I mean, I guess if I do what you're saying, that means all of the material culture, all of the people who go to Haiti and set up nations according to the tribe that they're from, which is the Rada spirits, which are the Nancho, etc., the Igbo, they call themselves these nations. All of
Okay.
this culture, all of the gods that they put upon them, all of the Maroons all over the place, all of these people, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean nothing. The DNA says E1B1A. It could be any of these cultures that is on the
Why do you
E1B1A,
even
and that's it. Fuck what the
frame it
black
this way?
people said
Why do
for
you frame it
themselves.
this way?
Hold
I'm
up,
not
hold
saying
up.
that.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Well, I just don't want you to be
Forget.
disingenuous on our
I'm about to be
platform. That's
finished
not
right
what I'm
now.
saying.
I'm about to be finished now. That basically we saying forget everything that our black ancestors wrote down of who they were and where they came from because they didn't know. That's what you're telling me today.
Okay.
That's what I get
Now,
from the conversation.
all right, cool. That's what you get. Now it's my turn. Okay, this is what you call a person who is disingenuous as fuck. All right. Anybody on here listening knows I ain't say no shit like that. I even said to him earlier a second ago, well, you know, they amalgamated among, well, I didn't say it this way, but paraphrasing, they amalgamated amongst other people, so they could have picked up different cultures. That's why I don't think cultures is a way of tracking descent, because people can shift cultures. One bloodline can shift to 15 different cultures in a few generations just because they move to different areas. Does that mean they don't have an ancient lineage? No. Does that mean they don't have a more? No. People 10,000 years, people who descend from people 10,000 years ago aren't practicing the same things those people practiced 10,000 years ago. Amazing, ain't it? Why? Because people change over time. They amalgamate amongst new people. They learn things from new people. So, I mean, and this is a staple of Israelite society. When you look at them when they went into Assyria, when you look at them when they went into Babylon, they always amalgamated amongst the cultures. Mordecai, one of our prophets, is named after Marduk. Why? Because they start worshiping Marduk as Yah. Why? Because they amalgamate amongst the cultures they're amongst. That's what they do. I'm almost done. To go down into West Africa and to start practicing West African traditions and lose sight of earlier traditions, that's called being a human. All right, they do this all the time. We
That's
do it
what the
today.
European Jews did, James. That's how they
Exactly.
came up with Yiddish.
Okay,
Yiddish is not Hebrew. That's a amalgamation of different
James.
languages.
So I got one question for you, James. Prior to the slave trade, did people were there communities in West Africa who knew they were Israelites and had that culture?
Yes.
So tell me,
The Jews of Laongo.
yeah,
Keep going. That's the Congo. Keep going.
The rabbinite. Am I saying that right?
Nah, there
I'm
ain't
saying
no
it so
Radhanite.
wrong.
Don't do that. Don't say
The
that.
Dagatun Jews. We got records of them. Like you can't
No,
even.
keep going. I want y'all to keep going.
You can look. We have records in Timbuktu talking about Jews.
Yeah, the
We have
Kati Jews.
we have Eldad the Danite talking about Jews.
Keep going.
We got Sultan Bello.
Sultan Bello.
He talks
Muhammad
about the
Bello?
Jews being Muhammad Bello. He talks about Yari being descended and Yoruba being descended from medieval Jews.
I kind of went over.
I mean, you can disagree with him, but you weren't there.
Buddy.
So look, you can disagree with him.
I'm not.
But this would be no. Hold up. Let me finish. This would be
it.
you doing what you accused me of.
No,
You're
brother.
saying this man don't know shit about the history that he wrote down.
This is not me, brother. When Joshua brought this up, I put Muhammad Bello on there. I put his whole works from 1810 there, and I tell you, not me. It said according to academic historians, they dismissed the claim. I didn't say this. This is what the majority of them
how much of African history do they actually know about modern history?
Bro. All right.
No, this is a valid question. No, don't try to move away from what I'm saying.
I want to stay on task. I want to stay on task, James.
No. This is a valid question to everything. Look, I want the audience to notice that he will not answer this question because it's such a pertinent question to his entire point, but he won't answer it because it would negate everything he just said. This is what we call disingenuous. You ask me a question, I answer you, Roborn. I don't tell you, oh no, I know I answer you to the best of my ability. I would like the same respect. Maybe we lost him again.
Wait, what happened? We lost them?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, the cultural argument is not a good argument, bro. And I didn't mention Bello on your channel. I mentioned the Saniki tradition of them coming from the Middle East. And he was like, well, there's no word for Middle East. I was like, okay. The point is they migrated from an area outside of sub-Saharan Africa. But also all of those Jewish groups that we mentioned, the Jews of Luango, like that cannot be disputed. That is pretty much from an anthropological standpoint, solidified and cemented in history. We also mentioned the Dagatuns of North Africa. There's plenty of Jews in those areas, and we know they were there because Askia the Great made an edict to expel the
Kick 'em
Jews
out.
from the Niger
Exactly.
Bend.
And the Garamontes had Jews amongst them. Me and you talked about that before. In Serenica, they had Jews. I mean, there were Jews all over.
This shit just cut me off again. That's I hate reading this shit while I'm on this phone, bro. I hate this fucking stream, y'all. I hate this shit. But anyway, what I was trying to say, I'm gonna make this point before whatever happens again. I'm glad you guys brought up all of those West African Jews. The practicing, know who they are. These are the people who come in the slave trade. Here is my problem. It is like the slave trade is an amnesia boat. Everybody forgot everything they were doing in West Africa as soon as they get here. So when we look at all of the first kings of all of the maroon societies, if I go to Colombia and I look at Cartagena bio, we see him. I look at 1500s. This is the time frame we at. I look at Gaspar Yenga. We see what he's saying. We look in Jamaica. We see what Cujo is saying. We look in the other part of Haiti. We look at what Francisco Mackendale is saying. And we go every one of these communities. We go to Suriname, over the 6 tribes that they have, when the Samaka, all of them. All of them say that they are African kings. None of these people say that they are Israelites. None of them say this. So the further we go back,
that's not true.
People who let me
That's
finish.
What I'm saying.
The further we go back, all of you just admitted and named multiple different places where these people were practicing, knew who they were, kept some form of it. But when they got off the boat, when we look amongst these people, they are not manifesting said culture. Why?
Wait, this is the issue. Number one, you wouldn't answer my question about
what question did you ask me?
How much do they know about ancient African history?
Who?
Scholars. Yes.
How much do they know? These are the people who study the goddamn record. That's their field.
This is what I'm talking. How many records we got from ancient Africans, man? Come on, man.
Wait.
West Africa. Come on.
Zero.
There's zero.
I'm just gonna answer for him. So
because he's trying to look. We ain't gotta go. Look, everybody following me, but you. Then that's your issue.
Let's go. Let's slow down. Because we talking about
how many records are we gonna slow down? I want to answer to my question. How many records
I'm answering your question. I'm answering you. And I asked you a question, and I said I was so happy that
I asked you first,
and I was making a point
so I didn't even listen to your question.
Me out. When we're talking about West Africa, the oldest records there are the Arabic sources. When we're looking at the oral traditions, we can trace some of them back to 1100.
But you just discounted some of them Arabic sources,
bro. You asked me to answer a question, bro. Okay. I'm answering your question. The oldest records of West Africa, who these people are, is the Arabic records. Then you have the oral traditions where we have some of them that go back, that could be traced 1,000 years back.
Okay.
Not all of them. So now, these are the scholars who wrote down what was going on, who the people were, etc., etc., etc. That's why I don't like being on stream.
So there's no indigenous records.
I don't like coming on here, but I can't show my fucking screen.
That's
when
fine.
you brought up that Mahamo Bello shit, that shit is done.
Hold up, you just said the only records we got is the Arabic records. Now you want to throw the damn Arabic records out the window.
I'm never throwing it away. That shit.
But that's literally what you said.
No, bro. Okay, that shit is written in 8.
I let you speak. I let you speak for a second.
Hold on. Muhammad Bello writes in 1810.
So what?
What are you talking about?
So what?
What I'm telling you is the ancient records don't say that. What are you talking about?
No, what I'm saying is there is no damn ancient records. That's the issue.
When I'm saying ancient records, brother, I'm talking about the oldest records of West Africa.
Oh, look.
Listen.
No,
the oldest records
you gonna listen for a minute, bro. You on our channel, man. Sometimes, hey, man, look. You got to learn to discipline yourself, Roborn.
No, I don't, man.
No, you got to learn to respect other people's platform, bro. I don't come on your look, now he running. Why? Because we won't let him talk over us? and try to bully us, you got to run.
Yeah, I mean the point that you're making is poignant because there are no African indigenous records. Well,
Exactly.
sub-Saharan African indigenous records. There's no writings, there's none of that. So we have to look at the Arabic sources and try to make come up with a conclusion from that because that's the only written material we have on sub-Saharan Africa.
Exactly, bro. How hard is that to understand, bro? He knows this. That's why he didn't want to go down that line of reasoning because he knew it was gonna make him look silly. Because what he doing? He throwing out gotcha questions. These ain't logical questions. These ain't logical points he's making. These are gotcha points for somebody who ain't well studied. But anybody who know there ain't no records in West Africa like that. That all the records we really got from ancient West is Arabic sources. And when we look in these Arabic sources and they talking about Jews, how you gonna just throw all that out the window? Why? Because you don't like it? Come on, man. Scholarship ain't about what we like. It's about what we can prove, what we can show evidence for.
Yeah, he said he can't do it. He can't show his string. So we'll get him back Monday and we can have the discussion then. But pursuant to that part about the Arabic writings, a lot of the Arabic writings alludes to Jews. Like he brought up Al-Idrisi. That lets you know Jews was in Senegal. That lets you know they're there. So that's what I was trying to relate to. Rabon is not an argument of culture. We're just talking about identification by descent, which is a scientific method, IBD method. We're trying to identify people by descent, not by culture. Because cultures, like you said, are plastic. That's subject to change. You understand? And that's why I told Rabon, if you have a child in East Asia and that he begins to have more children and down the line, 500 years, your progeny survives in East Asia, they not going to have your culture. He was like, well, I'll teach my son. Okay. It doesn't mean it's going to transmit from your son to a couple generations after him 500 years later.
Especially when he going to school and they teaching him a whole different culture everywhere he goes. School, life, work, everywhere he goes is teaching him Asian culture. He's going to know far more about Asian culture than he'll ever know about African culture. Period.
Facts. And then what you were teaching them was going to fade in the back. It's going to fade because, again, like you said, that environment and the people he around are greater influences than he will ever be. You know? And I brought up again the Ashkenazi Jews, same thing with them. A lot of them went through syncretisms and acculturations and inculturations. That's why they came up with Yiddish. Yiddish has a German component. You know what I'm saying? That is not Hebrew. You understand? A lot of their rights is not biblical rights. They came up with those rights when they went to that land or went to Europe. So it's the same thing with them. Are you going to hold them to this? Or are you going to hold them to the same standard? Oh, y'all not Jews because X, Y, and Z. No, you don't do that. You do that to us because, again, black people are not allowed to have an ancestry that invokes something outside of sub-Saharan Africa. We're not allowed to do that. Even though our DNA points back outside of sub-Saharan Africa, even though we got DNA in the Levant, even though we got DNA in the BMAC coast and the Oshu civilization. E1B1A was not trapped in Africa like these dudes be telling y'all. It's a lie.
Because they don't study. They go off what they hear, man. Come on. When you brought up that article showing them foragers was running all around West Africa and stuff, they almost had a conniption on that channel, man. Oh, man, let me interrupt him. He can't talk no more. No. He going to sell us. We wasn't in West Africa forever. Oh, nah, you got to get it. No, we got to start cutting him off. Come on, man. Just look at the evidence and go with it.
What are y'all trying to? They don't know what they're trying to attach themselves to. West Africa was in barbidity. It was savage. It was foraging. These people were not even in they were still in the Stone Age.
Facts.
They didn't have cities, metapopulations, inventions. They didn't have anything. They were like the pygmies are today. They're the
ancestors of the pygmies, so it makes sense.
What we're saying is actually glorifying and giving honor to our ancestors and putting respect on their names. Because these people came in, brought in agrarian societies, farming culture, metallurgy, right? These people were bringing in the first people to bring horses to sub-Saharan Africa and dealing with this long-distance trade. We know this because of no culture.
Yep.
What are y'all trying to get at when you're trying to put us in sub-Saharan Africa until perpetuity, man?
Because they don't want you to be nowhere near that near east, man. Because they done gave that to the white man already.
Well,
they done already told the white man he could have the near east, so
Yeah,
they don't want nothing to do with it.
anything
They done
outside,
gave him responsibility for starting agriculture, civilization, writing, everything. They just give it over to him. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking hold of your ancestors' tradition, your ancestors' legacies. Man, get out of here, man. I ain't giving away my ancestors' legacy because y'all don't like it, bro.
right? We the reason why Africa became what it was, because we came in and civilized that place and that part of the world and conquered and took over. And we started to boom and grow and build. And that's when you start hearing about everything he's talking about is because of those migrations. When you talk about Ouagadougou, it's because our ancestors migrated into sub-Saharan Africa and dominated and planted civilized the seeds of and sowed the seeds of civilization in West Africa.
And the
None of those
foundation
places-
of oh, my bad, go ahead.
No, I was just none of those places would exist if that didn't happen. Go ahead, brother.
And I was just gonna say the foundations of Ouagadougou is in Gao. Gao was founded by Israelites, bro. This is common knowledge. Like, I don't even see what he be on with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gao was founded by Israelites. Anybody can look up Zua, the Zua dynasty. This was Israelites. Come on, man. The Beni Musa came into West Africa. Those were Israelites from Baghdad. But he don't want to acknowledge that though.
And that goes back to understanding DNA. We know a gene flow came from Eurasia around 3,000 years. Coincidence? Same time that the Bantu expansion, or the, if you don't want to call it Bantu, the brother told me on Clubhouse, no, that's the wrong word. You can't use Bantu. Okay, E1B1A expansion. Then you happy? Yeah.
Why they don't like Bantu?
Because they feel like it's the wrong word to use because it's a language group, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? They say shit like that. So they don't want to hear the word Bantu.
But they do know you can classify people linguistically, culturally, genetically. There is different ways of classifying people. I just believe the most firm and concrete way is genetic.
All we saying, bro, is the genetic, migratory, and demographic data is lining up with what these oral testimonies are saying. These oral testimonies are saying we don't originate here. We migrated here from a place in the East, if you don't want to say Middle East. These people came from somewhere.
Jashub, are you acknowledging their oral testimonies?
Exactly, just like
Didn't he just
Oxford.
say a moment ago, though, that we refusing to acknowledge their oral testimonies? This is the stuff I be telling. That's why I was like, he's blatantly lying. Like when I did my presentation on Maccabees TV, a whole portion of it was oral testimonies or oral traditions. We talk about them, about the people who have oral traditions claiming that they're Israelites. But guess what? We're not saying they're every damn person in like every Yoruba is not an Israelite. Every Igbo is not an Israelite. We're not making those arguments. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep, man. It's just like, again, that's why I was telling Rob Bourne, you got to let me make my argument before you say anything, because I'm not arguing half of the shit you're talking about. You know? We coming strictly from a DNA and migratory, standpoint. And if y'all get a book by Oxford, the Oxford Encyclopedia of African Historiography, in that book, it tells you that scholars use oral testimony, man.
They don't have a choice because there ain't no written records.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what else you gonna use?
Right.
But they pick and choose which oral testimonies they gonna recognize them Afrocentrics. That's what I don't like. Like, I'm open enough. I put it all on the table. Yep, there's groups amongst the Igbo who say they've been in Igbo land forever. There's some groups amongst the Neri kingdom that say they descend from Gad, the son of Jacob. You know what I'm saying? They came there during the time of the split during Solomon. You had that. Just like you have Elder at the Danite who talk about how how the people or how the Israelites in West Africa didn't have Lamentations in Jeremiah. What did that tell you? They left before the Assyrian captivity. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This stuff's simple. It's like
Yeah.
if you know the chronology and what's going on in the region at the time, and scholars don't debate the chronology of the Israelites. They may debate whether an exodus happened. But as far as them coming into the land, setting up and building up, no, scholars don't debate that. These dudes act like they do. Like this,
Right.
this was the influx of a new people into a region. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And what does the DNA point out? Wait a minute, there's a DNA there that's not common to the region, E1B1A. Well, God damn it, if the story says they new to the region and there's new DNA in the region, well, it looks like to me that that's them.
Yep. And I was going to build to that point. I wasn't able to because we ended abruptly on this channel. But yeah, like if you look at the Assyrian, we know the Assyrians were deporting people from their homes. We know that. It's recorded. It's etched in stone. We had a black obelisk where Sargon was deporting people from Israel. We know that took place. And during this same time, we start seeing villages pop up in sub-Saharan Africa. We start seeing it at the same time. Look at the pottery assemblage of the Bantus in sub-Saharan Africa. It starts around 800 BCE. That's when it starts. I just covered that in the last video on the E1B1A dispersal. You understand? And I was going to bring all that stuff out, but it lines up with the data. The Assyrian conquest happens, then you see an influx of people coming in with these Eurasian genes coming in. How do you explain that? Because they were coming from Israel. They were coming from the Middle East, which lines up with the oral testimony.
Which first emerged in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Like they come in with these religious traditions that's eerily similar to Canaanite tradition. You know what I'm saying? Like Derek Lane pointed out how the Ile Ife do something that he construes as being very similar to the ball cycle, except with, you know, different slight cultural changes, but that's to be expected if you move into a new region. You have you amalgamate or take things from the indigenous culture to help you better survive in that region. So you're going to switch some of your mythology up a little bit. That's understandable. But the elements they claim look like they go back to Canaanite religions.
Right. And it's one thing, James, to say that we have an oral testimony, but the oral testimony lines up with the DNA and the migratory patterns. It lines up with it. There's no way around it. The Sefwi people say that they migrated across the Sahara from the north centuries ago. And then we show about the Soninke people saying they come from Dinka, which come from the Middle East. Then we got the tradition of the year of the elephant. Jews from Yemen fled into Africa. We got so many traditions saying the same damn thing. Did we forget about the Jews of Elephantine? Did we forget about those people? Where were they at? Osborne and Sonin. The word Sonin is where you get the word Soninke from, the people of Sonin.
They don't like making them, they always try to be like, oh, well, you know, West Africans, some of them came from Egypt. Yeah, they did. I don't argue that, but they wasn't no damn indigenous Egyptians, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of the people was Israelites from places like Aswan. That's where the glass beads and shit pop up at.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about that stuff, man. That glass, come on, man.
Facts. We already had iron metal urge. We already had the material culture. We just brought it with us when we moved and migrated.
Hey, you know what you should ask him next time, Jashoub? You know, he loved to always talk about primaries. Tell him to start giving you some primaries of these West African oral traditions and shit. Since you want all these primaries. So like, look, I need some primaries on that, man.
Yeah. You can't get no primaries of oral tradition. You have to write them down. So the same thing with Herodotus. Herodotus was writing down oral traditions.
Facts.
He would go to these places, figure out, okay, what's the oral tradition of the Abkhazians? He'll find out what it is and write it down in his book. That's all he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So to discount oral traditions, you're discounting all of history pretty much until a certain point.
And you know what's crazy? The African scholars always point out that the only people who don't pay respect to oral tradition is Eurocentric scholars. That's the African scholar standpoint. You know what I'm saying? When I did my studies, I was using Igbo and Oyo scholars when I was doing it from the University of Nigeria when I was doing my thing. And they say the only people who don't recognize the value of oral traditions is Eurocentric scholars. But in order to fortify these oral traditions, you do need some type of historical or archaeological record that'll help validate it. I mean, you could use linguistics, but you need some type of interdisciplinary approach to validate the oral traditions. You shouldn't just run with a just oral tradition that you found somewhere. And like you point out, all of this archaeology we talking about, a lot of the historical records, once we start getting historical records, all of these are confirming our hypothesis, not theirs, that there was no Jews in West Africa, or that there were probably like very small spigots of Jews or something like that. Nah, Elder at the Danite said they had a 250-day plus walk to walk across their kingdom. It took you that long, so that's a pretty big kingdom, and I think it would have to have a significant number of people.
Yeah, and that lines up with what we've been bringing up. You know what I'm saying? The migrations. But nobody questioned the white Jew when they say we all come from the Rhine and we went to Germany and they migrations. As soon as we bring up our migrations and we back it up with DNA, anthropology, or archaeology, then it's a problem. Because we black people don't have an ancestry. They can't have an ancestry. They can't claim an ancestry because the color of our skin prevents us from doing that. These dudes is racist, bro. I read the other day from Tudor Parfit's book that a German said that about a slave. He said, "What did you learn about this from?" He said, "I learned it from a slave, Oldendorf." He said, "Well, why would you listen to him? We all know black people don't have culture or history." And this is what these niggas is arguing in 2021. All right, we got a new person in the chat. Do you want to introduce yourself? You got a question or comment?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello. Excuse my English. English is my second language. I'm from East Africa, and I've been following your channel for a while, and I really I enjoy your channel. All right, so I don't have a question, but I have to I have just something to say, and this is the problem here is that as East Africans and the Horners, I'm from the Horn of Africa. We have heard a lot about how we are not real Africans, and I used to take offense to that statement. I really used to take offense to it when somebody said to me, for instance, "You're not a real African," and it started getting like a bullying kind of situation. You understand? And I have been researching and studying where is this coming from? Why are people saying we are not really Africans? And then I have come across your channel, and I have been making a lot of research, and I do understand that we have a lot of DNA from the Levant, and so I appreciate you guys that you that you're doing this, because I had no idea, and I was really offended by that, and I was like, how dare you say that I'm not real African? I am African, of course. I am African. We do live in Africa, but at some point we did migrate to Africa too, and yeah, so this being an African, and it feels like sometimes that it is like if you don't look a certain way, then you are not of those people.
Bingo.
Uh,
Bingo. That's
exactly.
how they think.
So this is the what I have noticed was people are quick to judge because of the appearance, and of course we do look a little bit different, but that it start becoming like some sort of bullying game, and it's not only me. A lot of people from Horn of Africa take very offense to it when they hear you are not a real African. But to be honest, now when I went through the genetics, it does have something to it. So I do understand where this is now coming from, right? Um, so yeah, as before I wrote before my cousin from my mother's side, he met he did his jet match and he got 69.4% Natufian. That was surprising to me. So yeah, so
Wow.
exactly. So my brother's doing his DNA now too. I mean, it's not so much surprising because we do have a lot Eurasian DNA, but so it's nothing that just came to Africa though. A lot of people think that we have this Eurasian because of Arab. The Arab came and invaded and interbred with us, but that is not the that's not true though.
That's right.
This and this DNA that we have is an ancient DNA. It's very old DNA. It has nothing to do with Arabs. Back then, there was no even Arab. Arab did not even exist when we came
Exactly.
back. When we came back to Africa, see, so so this is what people don't understand is that genetics is totally something different than how you look. Your look can be, after a while, it can change, and you can become looking by the people you live in the midst of the people, the region you live. Those people you will look like that. Just like now, I said also before. Now, when we look at the Jewish people, now those Jewish that we know now accepted as a Jews, when we look at them, every one of them, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, every one of them have base. Every one of them have E1B1B and DNA, right? So, and E haplogroup is like their base. So we must think, why do they all have this DNA, right? It must have come. That must be the base, and then they like introduced another DNA into their genetics after a while. That's what I believe.
Yeah, E's
And also,
definitely at the root.
exactly, that's why I'm thinking, like, when a lot of people in different places in the world have the same genetic, that genetic that makes them the same must be the base of it. That must be
Exactly.
where they rose from. That's what I think. So yeah, now I have to say I don't take offense at all when somebody says to me, "You are not all African." True, I have some African DNA. My Somal, when you look at it, it is African. But my ancestors, in the other hand, they came from far, right? And they came into Africa. So that, just if you look at the guy on my picture, that's like my third uncle, right?
Okay.
And if this guy would have a light skin, he would look like a German guy, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
If he would be a pale skin, he would definitely look like an English. He would pass for an English guy, right? So you can see that this guy must come from somewhere else, right? Somewhere else. But the thing is, if you when you guys are talking about and people coming E1B1A coming in and intermixing with the natives, I can understand that, right? Because that's what happens. By us, we stayed in the same area. We did not disperse, so, right? We did
Mm-hmm.
not go into the interior of Africa. We did not intermix with other Africans. We just stayed in that corner. So somehow we kept some of that look, right? But the Bantu, they literally migrated all the way down, and they mixed with the native Africans. So of course you will change your appearance in a long run, right? So
Yes.
yes, of course. So I'm so thank you, because I am really not like offended like I used to be.
All
But it
praises.
is so it is very interesting. Now I have to make one thing clear. I am definitely not saying that I'm a Jewish or I have a Jewish ancestors. I don't, um, because I don't know, right? I don't know, so I don't claim it. But what I claim is the DNA and the genetics that is there, right? Genetics is there. We have a high percentage of people who migrate to Africa like thousands of years ago. It's not Arabs. It did not come 600 years ago to us. This is fact. This is proven fact, right?
That's right.
So it is older. It is older that came into Africa, and yeah. So I should not be ashamed of my my ancestors, right?
Not at all,
Absolutely
because you
not.
definitely helped civilize. They definitely helped civilize that portion of Africa.
Mhm. So yeah, of course, you get bullied. You get really bullied when we got a lot of bullying. And we became like very like sensitive to that topic, like how dare you say that I'm not an African. Of course I'm African. My country is right in the middle of Africa, right? But the thing is, everybody came somehow sometime into this land, and in different times. So we just came in, and I was also reading about the 13,000 years ago there was a war going on in the Nile
Yes,
Valley.
Gabel
Exactly.
Sahaba.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, I'm looking my DNA, and when they say we came in, I'm putting two and two together. Those might have been my ancestor who just came in and start this war. I'm not sure. You understand what I'm saying? So, but these people are coming from the north into to interior of Africa, right? So I think what you guys have something here, and it is actually very refreshing to hear, and not only somebody who's preaching, um, uh, you know, we just are Israelis. We just are Hebrews. You understand? You have to have um, some sort of evidence, and
Nuance.
and
Yeah.
genetics, and genetic evidence is always like it has your back, right? So and it's refreshing to see some people who are really, um, you guys are really showing your proof, and I enjoy it. I really enjoy watching you guys. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's all. I'm just gonna lay back and listen to you guys, and yeah, thank you.
Big respect, big respect. She even earned a bomb on what she said. You know what I'm saying, Jashu?
Facts. Facts that Eurasian DNA, you can't hide it no more, man. You can't hide it no more.
No, we cannot. We cannot. We have this DNA all the way to Europe, to Asia, everywhere. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. So we cannot hide it, and it is really refreshing somebody who's coming in and having DNA as proof, as not only like, if you show me a book, I'm not a Bible believer, I'm not a Christian or Jew or anything like that. So if you show me a book, it doesn't make me any sense. You understand?
Hmm.
I will say whatever. I don't believe in your book anyways, right?
Yeah.
You show me science, then I should think. Then I think. Then I say, okay, let me see what this is all about. So it's better that really that they go into science and prove their point with science. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Hey, all praise to the Most High, because that's the whole reason we made this channel, for what you just said, sis.
Exactly. A lot of people are not Bible believers, and many of them, I myself, I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in the Bible, but there are atheist people too that don't believe in the Bible. So it doesn't make any sense if you're reading all day long a Bible verse. It doesn't affect me in any way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
But when we say, okay, I have a black and white and genetics and science, then I listen. Then I listen. That's. I mean, that is the main goal that you guys are making here, and it's really working because I had no idea. You understand? I'm not even in the same belief system as you are, but still I'm here. You understand what I'm saying? I'm listening.
And that's great, because it also shows that you ain't got to be a Bible believer to understand what we saying, because that shows how a lot of these other folks make it seem like, oh man, yeah, these just Bible believers, don't pay them no attention. No, this is concrete science. Anybody can go pick up the articles we talk about reading and get the same information we disseminating right here on the channel. We ain't trying to switch it up, we ain't trying to spin it, we just giving you the facts, and you just take it where you take it. And like you said, the sister, she said she ain't no believer, but she can show believe them facts though.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I was actually hoping for one day to catch you guys live because I live in Europe, and always when you guys are online live, we are already on sleep. So tonight I'm happy that I catch you guys. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's all I want to say to you. You guys are doing a great job, and continue and prove your point. That's beautiful. In the end of the day, we all came from the same source. So that's exactly
Yeah, EP2 gang all day.
all day, all day.
Yeah, that's another thing too about the people we argue with. They don't accept North Africans. They don't ever
Oh
talk about
yeah.
North Africans.
Oh yeah, and North Africans, actually, North Africans and my country, we share a lot of DNA. Yeah, and we are very close to North Africans. And of course, if they don't even accept us as Africans, even though we are dark, I will not blame them not accepting lighter skin, almost white looking people there. You understand what I'm saying? They think only if you, it's just the skin color. That's all. This appearance, they see that's all that is matters. But actually, genetics is different. Genetics is skin deep. So
That's true. We've been trying to teach these guys this information for a couple years now, and try to get them to grasp that, because they'll say Africa all day. Oh, we for Africa. No, you're not. You don't even care about the North Africans and East Africans. I never hear them guys talking about East Africans or connecting with North Africans. Never, because they think they're different people.
exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is the problem. When we always get this pushback, it's always a pushback. Like, no, you're really not that African. If you don't look this way, then you're not. So and this is what makes a lot of youngsters now from my country very, very like anti-black too. Now they're becoming anti-black because they're getting this kick and this push. You're not one of us, even though in this we we all belong to the same DNA. We all the same DNA running through our veins, but still they're saying, no, you're not one of us. That is the problem. We have to sit down and think. We came from the same source, and forget about North Africans. Even if you cannot accept East African, Horn Africans, that is very dark. A lot of us very, very dark, really dark. It's just that we look a little bit different, but they don't accept us because they say, well, you don't have these facial features, so therefore you're not one of us. That's the problem.
And that's also extremely childish, if I may say so myself.
Of course, there's the Fulani people who do look. Some Fulani people look like us, but they
Mm-hmm.
have E1B1A.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, how you look has nothing to do with your genetics. The people have to understand that.
Yep.
We just have to get past that.
Haplotype, not phenotype, baby. That's what we go. That's what we shoot for. Because
Thank you. Yeah.
you can mix, like for instance, I got a cousin look like a straight white boy. You know what I'm saying? It's my grandpa's grandson, but my grandpa moved to Cali, married a white woman. His son married a white woman. His grandson came out looking straight white, but guess what? He E1B1A just like me. Ain't no way around it.
Exactly. So when we have all these Jewish people, Sephardic Jewish people, and Ashkenazi Jewish people, they all have the same one genetic that is in common, and that's E. E
Mm-hmm.
haplogroup is in very like every one of them. So I was thinking that must be the base where they came from, and then they just mixed with other people, and that's how they got all other different genes in them.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, sis. Came to pretty much same conclusion we came to.
Thank you, you guys. I'm gonna let you go and continue. Thank you.
All right, you have a great day, sis.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Oh, that was beautiful right there, Jashub. I was feeling that right there. You know what I'm saying? That gave me a little spunk in me. You know what I'm saying? Feeling like shoot, somebody is actually watching, paying attention, and following along. That ain't, just the Israelite. But yeah, man, like the sister was saying, man, that phenotype, we got to go ahead and drop that to the side, man. We got to start looking at the concrete evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been bringing forth that Y chromosome. I was just recently reading a paper that was pointing out how the Y chromosome is the best way to track lineage because it's passed directly from father to son. It's easy to tell whether mutations took place on the Y chromosome to see, you know, a direct lineage from a certain people. So, I mean, when people try to make it about culture instead of the Y chromosome, that's because they're trying to look for a way out of the concrete evidence to make their point. You know what I'm saying? They want to go to something more subjective, something they can play around with, you know, and kind of manipulate the masses with instead of something that's straightforward like science that can't be questioned. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Right. That's why, like you just said, they stray away from that. The days of you just saying we black and we came off slave ships, that's not enough to draw a commonality. We got Seneb in the damn building. Hold on. This is the brother that was talking noise in the comments, bro. Let's get him on here. What's cracking, Seneb?
Good evening.
Hey, man. Early you said something to the effect that the DNA does not agree with you. Can you expound on that, brother?
I said the DNA didn't agree with you.
Yeah, in the comment section, when I was bringing out that DNA, E1B1A didn't migrate into sub-Saharan Africa until 3,000 years ago.
But what did that have to do with the title of the room?
No, but you said the DNA disagrees with you. I want you to explain what you meant by that.
Yeah, in regards to the title of the room, how was the DNA helping your point or proving your point?
Because the title said, who are African Americans? African Americans are by and large E1B1A.
It said who are Black Americans.
Well, Black Americans. Black Americans are by and large.
Then you went to E1B1A to suggest that Sephardic Jews were Black Americans.
No, it's deeper than that. If the video is called or the discussion
I'm just saying what you said, brother.
Got you, Seneb. I did go to Sephardic Jews, but it's deeper than that. If majority of African Americans are E1B1A, African American males, and we can show a migration pattern outside of sub-Saharan Africa, and those brothers have Asian culture and material culture that come from outside of Africa. That's how we're making our argument. Majority of us are E1B1A.
Real quick, which people have Asian? Because I know you're hinging on this haplogroup thing, which unfortunately I don't think is appropriate when defining the people. But if you want to use it, that's fine. But how do you use culturally to paint within the 17th, 18th century that Sephardic Jews were Africans or Black Americans?
Oh, well, because their DNA is African. I mentioned that during the live.
Again, I know you hinged on the so you're saying the Spaniards were the same people as the Africans that they were enslaved?
You can have the same. Well, I'm not saying all Spaniards are the same either. Let's clarify that.
No,
but
I'm
you
saying
can't
the
have
Spaniards that were enslaving Africans. Are you saying they the same people as the Africans because they share similar haplogroups?
Yes, you had Sephardics that were the same people that was enslaving the Africans, just like you had different African tribes, like the Bihogo tribes, that were enslaving their own people. That's not impossible.
When the Spaniard came into West Africa in the beginning of the 15th century, you're saying they saw themselves as the same people as the African.
No, it's irregardless if they seen themselves.
Well, Sephardic means they come from Spain.
Seneb, you Gish galloping me, bro. You got to let me answer one thing at a time. That is Gish galloping.
Sephardic Jews come from where?
Sephardic Jews.
Answer your question, Seneb. Be fair. Come on now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to attack the premise of his argument. Sephardic
You're
Jews
not attacking the premise because
place.
you got to let me finish before you can continue. Like, I don't know why y'all don't grasp that concept. You asked the question. I'm trying to answer you. Let me answer you. So you stated where the Sephardic Jews come from. They come from the original Judean stock. Are all of them the same? No. But the ones we're focusing on are the ones that we can prove that were in the Levant. The E1B1A, E1B1B markers, because we can see if you were listening from the beginning, I showed the skeletal remains of EP2, which is the progenitor of E1B1A, E1B1B in Israel. I showed that. That's where we start. So once you start there, then you can trace the lineage where they went to. You had some E1B1A migrating to sub-Saharan Africa. DNA is important because that's how we track our ancestors. Brothers want to throw DNA out the window when that's the only way you can track your ancestors. That goes deeper than written records. So we got E1B1A coming from this area, migrating into sub-Saharan Africa. You got E1B1B starting in the Middle East, originating there, and then migrating into Africa.
So real quickly. So when you say these people's words, do the people themselves say come from the Levant? Those who were trapped up and snatched up via the transatlantic slave trade, which one came off the boat saying they come from the Levant?
Some of them do. We brought up some of the groups.
Remember, we were trying to prove, we were proving Black Americans. Show the Black, who didn't show a Black American coming off the boat saying they was a Hebrew.
You do have Black Americans do that, but the argument's deeper than that because we know the ancestors of the Black Americans. That's the point y'all not getting. We know the ancestors of Black Americans because we got their DNA.
They come from the Levant, and I think you, again, when you hinge your argument on haplogroup, it's unfortunate because it's sort of a shallow way to describe someone's culture. Right?
We're not describing their culture.
We're identifying Black Americans. That's a culture.
No, Black but we're culture. Not. No. We're doing IBD, identification by descent.
Brother,
when you say who are the Black Americans, that is a question of descent and ancestry. That's what we're bringing out.
Descent. The DNA shows that majority of Black Americans are African descent.
Yes, through E1B1A. We brought that out. Where does E1B1A come from?
These Black Americans are from Central West African descent. These specific Central West African cultures have their own cosmology and cosmogony. They don't say they come from the Levant.
That's a lie because you have various
those who you real quick, and I'll give it back to you. Those who you point out who do is because of their influence with the European.
That's a lie because this is why DNA transcends all that. We have the DNA where these people were. So you can't say, "Oh well, this is
when the Portuguese came into West Africa in the 1440s,
before the Portuguese.
They said they saw Jews.
Before the Portuguese.
Who else was in Central West Africa and said they saw Jews?
He don't want to start at the beginning. He want to start at some ambiguous point.
And we start at the beginning.
We can work from now and then work backwards.
If you want to start from the beginning, let's begin with the Soninke people. They don't come from the Levant. Their culture doesn't.
Yes, they do. The Soninke people. The Soninke people
got to the land where they got, you know what I'm saying? Where they ended up at. I mean, because the DNA showed that it didn't. The DNA is just the facts. The oldest specimen we found of E1B, the E marker is not in Central West Africa. It's not.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? So if the oldest E marker is not from there, then you got to see where it come from, and then you'll see where it come from. That's going to be the ethnogenesis of the people.
So do you think a haplogroup is an adequate way to describe a people?
Yes, because it shows you your ancestor. Do you know what that word
again, but it's in there. But I think that's what I'm saying. I've been just listening the whole time. You got two different arguments going on. You got a cultural argument, and you got a line of descent argument. Those are two different arguments. The people have two different arguments.
Wait, because I don't know if he was in the room. The title of the room was called "Who Are the Black Americans?"
We were watching on YouTube.
Black is culture. I don't get where we keep losing each other on what black means.
So wait a minute. So
black is a specific culture detailing people from Central West Africa. D-Red, we've had numerous conversations on this, and you continue to decide. Real quick. I'm gonna get with D-Red because that's my man. I'm gonna answer D-Red because he asked me the direct question. Like D-Red, we've had these conversations, and you sort of alluded to similar things. The goalpost is being moved. It was specific Black Americans, not E1B1 markers. No one defining people based off of their haplogroup. You don't define the Ashanti based off their haplogroup. You define them based off their culture. It's very specific to the Ashanti.
Okay, so you're not an African then, Sanib. You're not an African.
I'm not letting you. I'm not letting you move the goalposts.
No, Sanib. You just moved the goalposts.
You don't define the Ashanti by their haplogroup.
Sanib, you're not an Ashanti either. You're an American. You're an American. You're a North American.
Nationality is American. Yes. Yeah, my
Yes,
nationality
you're
is
North
American.
American. Everything about you is American. There's
Yeah,
nothing
and my culture,
African
and my
about
culture
you
is African.
culturally. No, it's
My
not.
culture is that.
What
See
do
how
you
they
do?
move
What
the
do you do that's
goalposts?
African?
Hey, D-Ray, see where we at now. We went. Now we
No,
moved the
you moved the
goalposts.
goalpost to
Chanel
culturally
have to.
defining people. Now I'm culturally
That's how
defining
you define
you.
language. There's language in my
Chanel,
family that's
Chanel.
connected to West
What
Africa. I
do
just
you
gave you an
do?
example.
What do you do
Language,
that's African? That's ancient African. Do you follow the Amu?
language.
Do you sacrifice a
What?
virgin
Wait.
to the
See,
snake
you see
god?
how you move, brother. Wait,
No,
you talking
Chanel,
too much.
you said
You're
that's a
moving the
strictly
goalpost.
cultural definition.
I just gave you language. That's a part of culture.
Oh my God. So can you answer my question?
I recommend you look up
You
UNESCO's
speaking you
definition of
said
culture.
language. English is an
No,
Anglo-Saxon language.
I speak African
No,
American vernacular English. I
no,
recommend you look that
that's
up as
hold on.
well.
A vernacular of a language is not a different
African
language.
American
That's
vernacular
called a
English. That's a specific dialect
Chanel.
of
Do you
people
know
of
what a
African descent
dialect
in
means?
America.
Do you know what a dialect means?
It's a dialect. It's a
Do,
language dialect of the specific group of people in America
Chanel,
who are
do you
descended
know
from
what dialect
Africans.
means?
Would you mind pulling up AAVE for right now so that people can see what it is?
I'm gonna pull up what a dialect is because that's not a different language.
Can you pull up African American vernacular English? Can you pull that up?
We know what Ave or
Who
Bava,
who
however y'all call it. We know what that is, bro.
who speaks African American vernacular
Got
English?
you. Let me teach you what a
So that's how real quick. We just
dialect.
brought it
Hold on,
back
I'm
because the
bringing up.
brother
No,
you
bro. Let
asked
me
for
bring the information out, bro.
examples.
Let me
You
bring up
told
what
me a
a
while ago to
dialect.
let you answer the question. Now I'm trying to
I'm
answer you
trying to
directly.
answer it.
Give me the game. Give me the same grace I gave you.
I
You
gave
asked
you a
for an
lot of
example of
grace, brother.
culture. You asked for an example of culture. I just gave you the culture. I tied it into the
That's not an
language.
African culture, bro.
You're
That
not
doesn't tie
listening.
you to the ancient
African
people of
American
Ghana.
vernacular.
Chanel,
African American
because you
vernacular
speak
has
an
loan
African
words from
American
West
vernacular
Africa.
does not tie you to the ancient
African,
people of
where
Ghana.
who speaks it?
So therefore,
It's
you
not
are an
just
American
ancient
creation
Ghana.
culturally.
It's not just ancient Ghana. Please pull up African American vernacular English. You pull up
Got you.
dialect. Thank you.
I
Pull
want
up
to read.
African American
Yes,
vernacular
I
English.
want to read what a dialect is before we get into that. A dialect is a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. Like you have the English of England is different than American Standard English. It's still English. It's not a different language. When we're talking about a unique or distinct culture, you need to produce a different language. You don't speak the ancient language of Ghana or the Ghanaian tongue. You don't speak the ancient Igbo tongue. You speak English like I speak English. You are American culturally. You're not African culturally. You do nothing that ties you to the African people
Can you
culturally.
pull up African American vernacular English, please? While you ranting.
Africa. No, I'm just telling the truth here. We deal with
While you're
English.
ranting, thank you for your rant. Can you please pull up African American vernacular English?
We're gonna take you to school.
Try to be the best you can be. I love school. Whatever you do, stay in school.
This dude going to school today, man.
Can you
Y'all
please
brothers
pull
want
up African American vernacular English? I don't know why you running, man. It's
to?
unfortunate. You
Ain't
home and
nobody
you
running
running.
from nothing,
It's
bro.
like you running
It's
around your
still
house, yo.
English.
I'm in
Hey,
your house
Chanel,
putting you under pressure, yo.
you ain't putting nobody under anything. Use a damn
Pull up
American. You ain't an
African American
African
vernacular
culturally.
English. Then you ask for the culture. You ask for the tie. This is the tie. Pull it up.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you in Boto.
Oh, hey, what's up?
In Boti. What's
Am
going
I?
on, brother?
Hey, not much, man. Am I live on YouTube or am I still in the backstage?
You live on YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, I was just gonna say, yeah, like there's not much history tied to the name African American because from what I understand, we've only been called that since like the 1980s, anyways.
Man, that's fine. I just want to pull up African American vernacular English, so.
Yeah, which is still English. You ain't speaking
Pull up,
Ghanaian, nigga.
brother. You speak English. You were Aboriginal and speak English, brother.
I'm
Pull
not
up African
Aboriginal,
American
nothing,
vernacular
Hey,
bro.
Jeshu, let me ask you a question real quick. Why, when the scholars, been on my goddamn couch, why when the scholars pull up, well, I mean, not when the scholars, when the courtroom want to do an ancestry test, why they don't test people's culture? Why do
Yeah.
they test DNA?
They do test culture. He
Because
doesn't want
according
to
to
read
this brother, they should be texting people's culture. That's what they
Yeah.
should do. Because
do
they
test
shouldn't be
culture.
worried about DNA.
Right. When they want to get a paternity, with the situation polite,
The
why they didn't test
DNA,
his
the
culture? They
DNA still
tested his
doesn't
DNA
exist.
to see if
That's why
it
you
matched
got to
with
go
that
back
semen.
3,000 years. You got to go back 3,000 years to prove your point, and it still doesn't prove your point. And you
Because our
still haven't
people
pulled up
existed
African
3,000
American vernacular
years.
English.
That
Pull it
does.
up, brother. Why are you
I
so
just
scared to
pulled it
pull
up,
it
bro.
up?
I'm reading it right here. It's still fucking English. It's still fucking English, you
Who
dunce.
speaks? Who
It's
speaks it?
English. You do not speak an ancient African tongue. Stop
Who
it.
speaks it?
You're not fucking African. You are American.
Who speaks it? Who
Culturally.
speaks it?
Oh my God. You are an American culturally. What else do you
Bro,
do?
just
What kind of
click
holidays
on
you
the link, bro.
What kind of holidays do you celebrate? Did you pop firecrackers July 4th?
No,
Huh?
I was asleep.
Did you? Huh? You's an American Negro.
No,
Now
I was
see,
asleep.
I'm holding you against your own goddamn standard. Oh, only
No, you
culturally
didn't.
defined niggas. You are a American culturally. Get over it. You're not an African. You're American.
Yo, you
You
still
eat hot
rambling,
dogs
yo.
like everybody else.
You
You
still
celebrate
rambling,
Christmas
yo.
like everybody else. You do
So you
everything
realize
American.
right
You
now
wear
you at the
American
top because
garb.
you asked
You wear
specifically about
American garb
culture.
like everybody
Remember
else.
this. I came to your house and I gave you an example. Something you failed
You
to
didn't
do. You
give an
came over to my
example.
house.
Ave
That's
is not an
African
example.
American
All right, let
vernacular
me read
English.
it. Let me read it. Let me read it. AAVE is a dialect of English.
Who
English, Negro. English.
speaks African American vernacular English? Read it out for the people who speaks it.
It's English. You speak English. You don't speak an
Negro, you
African
is a
language.
Hebrew Christian speaking English. What does
You
that mean? It
speak
doesn't
English.
prove who's speaking.
No,
That's
you
your
said
issue. You
no.
have
I'm
a
holding.
comprehension. You have
Sanel,
a
you have. Hold on, bro. This ain't your show. You have a comprehension issue. You said only culturally defined people, so I'm culturally defining your ass. You're American. Get over it. You speak English. You speak American Standard English, Negro. You're not African. You do not speak an African tongue, an ancient African tongue. You don't follow no ancient African practice. You don't do none of that shit. So if we're going to hold you to that standard, we're going to do that. You are culturally American. That's what you are. You're not fucking African, okay? Oh,
Well,
you know
according to linguist John McWhorter, he maintained that the contribution of West African languages to AAVE is minimal in an interview with the National Public Radio. He said it's a hybrid of regional dialects of Great Britain that the slaves in America were exposed to because they often worked alongside indentured servants who spoke those dialects. That's according to linguist John McWhorter.
Nigga, use American. Nigga. Hey, D-Red, this nigga was just on here. Well, we don't need to we need to define these people culturally. Okay, that's define your ass culturally. Now you in your feelings because you ain't a fucking African culturally. Now ain't you, nigga? You Negroes need to go back to school, you dumb nigga. And I'm gonna talk to you like that because that's the type of energy I have for me on your channel, bro. Don't even know what a dialect is. A dialect does not mean a different language, dodo. Dudes is goofy, man. Use American. I'm holding you to the standard that you're trying to hold us to. You American, no way around it. There's nothing African about you. Don't keep no African culture. You don't scar yourself. Do you do scarification? Do you scar yourself? Do you look in the mirror in the morning and scar yourself, bro? No, you don't. Do you follow an African deity? Do you sacrifice to a deity? Do you worship an African deity? No, the fuck you don't. Use American, nigga. You dress American, you act American, and you speak American. So if we're gonna if we're gonna use that standard as an argument, stick to it, bruh. Don't be a fucking hypocrite.
Hey, man, all I know is if I ever go to court and they try to spring a paternity test on me, I'm gonna be like, nah, fuck that. I learned online. Me and my son got different cultures. We not related.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how silly that shit is when you put it in real world circumstances. You know what I'm saying? This shit's silly, man.
Right. They running from science. Thank you, Chemo. We was pushing DNA. Oh, we don't want to hear DNA. You can't use haplogroup. Do you even know what the word haplogroup means? You fucking dunce.
Hey, but Jashu,
5 or 6 years ago, that's all they used to ask us for, remember?
Right.
Yes, the DNA. Then you get the DNA. Oh, well, I don't trust that DNA. Well, what DNA you trust in? Oh,
Let me
DNA
read.
altogether.
Let me read the definition to this retard. Got me fucked up. Haplogroup is a genetic population group of people who share a common ancestor.
Uh-oh. I know you didn't use that horrible A word in ancestor.
When we're talking DNA, we're trying to find out where we come from, our ancestry, dodo. So when you're talking about Black Americans, the majority of them are E1B1A, where does E1B1A come from? Huh? Let's just use culture. Okay, use American, nigga. Don't talk to me about no Africa. You won't know shit about it. You don't practice nothing from Africa. He gonna use AAVE, something that was created in fucking America. You goofy.
Hey, you sure?
Fucking goofy, man.
You got me over here dying laughing, bro.
Niggas is goofy as hell. Nigga eat corn dogs and shit talking about Africa. Get your dumb ass out
hot
here.
dogs and pizza and shit.
Hot dogs and
Somebody
pizza.
African.
Right, going to the fair and shit. You ain't
I
doing
ain't
no
seen one of these niggas with no fufu on their plate.
popping firecrackers and shit. Get your goof ass.
I guess they Chinese from that because firecrackers was invented in China.
He take his kids out to do Halloween and trick or treating shit. Talking about some just get if you don't get your goofy ass on somewhere, man. Niggas is super extremely goofy on here, bruh.
But let's look up AAVE right quick, because when I looked it up, man, it said the links to West Africa was minimal. You know what I'm saying?
It's like them dumbass people saying.
And then they got a Creole theory to it. They got a Creole theory to it that most linguists don't even subscribe to. So basically, it's just English, man. I mean, that's that was a bad argument, bro. Like you can Wikipedia, they gives you the origin, all that stuff, and they get to talk about the Samba English and the people in Nova Scotia and. But I mean, using that as a bridge to West Africa, when most linguists say it has minimal of anything to do with West Africa, that they learned it from the white people that was working beside the slaves that were indentured servants. That's a bad argument, bro. Like that was just bad, man. That's never my guy, but that was just a bad argument. He shouldn't have done that one because it didn't help his point at all, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I'm about to say Thomas Sowell bring that out in his book Black Rednecks and shit.
Right, trying to say that the broken English and Ebonics is, they used to say that shit. Ebonics is African. Get your goofy ass out of here.
Go back to stupid ass Irish Europeans and shit who didn't know how to speak proper English.
Right, like saying axe or saying yo, like that shit is not fucking African, bro.
Stop saying yo in Africa. Show me one people in Africa talking about some yo indigenous.
The reason why they grasping for straws because they know they don't follow. He finna go home and do some American shit. He just got off here and you got to go practice some American shit. I guarantee you, he's not doing anything. He is not lighting incense to Amu. He's not doing that, bro. He not finna go give honor and respect to Olodumare. Niggas be faking up here, bro, with this cultural shit. Because if I really press you on that cultural shit, 99.9% of the shit you do is American, bro. You dress American, you act American, you speak American.
Get online and think American. Ain't nothing they saying African in thought.
Nope.
At all. Next, these niggas gonna be telling us the ancient Africans was atheists and shit.
He probably believed that he evolved from an ape. Some American shit.
Some American shit. Exactly. Now he gonna tell you in Kemet they believe they evolved from the ancient baboon and shit.
Yeah, I came at his neck because he said some stupid at him and that other nigga. Daddy gonna get it too, man. Dumbass niggas. That shit don't fly over here. That dumbass shit, bro. That's a dialect of English. That's why I said first we gotta break down dialect before we even read AAV. I said this nigga don't know what a dialect is.
Hey, but you see, they get frustrated when you start breaking down things. You want to know why? Because it exposes that they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Right. Oh, we don't use DNA. Don't use
Who
DNA.
ever
That's
said that? Like I'm for real, bro. I'm gonna try that in court, man. If girl ever take me to court, I'm gonna be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We
But look,
practice completely
look,
different
check
cultures.
this out though, y'all. I'm finna read the origins of AAVE. I'm gonna read the
give me
origins
the
right quick.
source.
Just
Give
a
me the
quick.
source so I can put it on the stream.
It's Wikipedia. They use Wikipedia over there, so that's why I'm using it because they use it because I want them to say, "Did you get that Wikipedia ain't a valid source?" Because then that means a lot
They
of their
can't use it
videos
no
got to go
more.
to trash. You know what I'm saying? So you just look up. You go to Wikipedia. You go to origins, right? And then let's just start. It says African American vernacular English may be considered a dialect, ethnolect, or sociolect. While it is clear that there is a strong historical relationship between AAV and earlier Southern U.S. dialects, the origin of AAV are still a matter of debate. The presiding theory, since they said they go by the consensus, the presiding theory among linguists is that AAV has always been an English dialect, meaning that it originated from earlier English dialects rather than from English-based Creole languages that decreolized back into English in the early 2000s. The Shana Poplock provided corpus-based evidence from a body of writings from isolated enclaves in Sama and Nova Scotia, people by descendants of migrations of early AV speaking groups. Sama English, see Sama English. It says that suggests that the grammar of early AV was closer to that of contemporary British dialects than modern urban AAVE is to other current American dialects. Suggested that the modern language is a result of divergence from mainstream varieties rather than the result of a decreolized from a widespread American Creole. Then it goes into language. John McWhorter maintains that the contribution of West African languages to AAVE is minimal.
Damn.
In an interview with the National Public Radio, talk to the nation, McWhorter characterized AV as a hybrid of regional dialects of Great Britain that slaves in America were exposed to because they were worked alongside indentured servants who spoke those dialects. According to McWhorter, virtually all linguists who have carefully studied the origins of AAV agree that the West African connection is quite minor.
Mm.
So I'm saying all this to say that was a bad damn analogy, and there was really no point in trying to make that connection, the AAV connection to West Africa, because most linguists don't even subscribe to that. So anybody that you do bring that's a linguist that says that is going to be considered fringe work, means which fringe means pseudo. So it's just what it is, man.
Oh shit! This American ass nigga gonna come on here and try to talk about culture.
Just got finished celebrating the 4th of July.
Right.
Talking about he African. Get your ass out. Getting ready for Thanksgiving in a few months, talking about he African, man.
Right.
Get your ass. Halloween coming up, looking ass.
Right, he gonna go out there with his kids with that little bucket. Because a lot of the woman gonna make him do it.
Looking ass nigga.
His woman gonna make him. If he don't want to do it, his woman gonna make him
And
do
you know
it.
how the women get down. You know
take them damn kids out there and trick or treat. You hear me?
Yep. You better have that Christmas tree up, ready, and glowing, nigga. I want my Christmas lights out 2 weeks before Christmas, nigga.
Right, goof ass nigga. And now he mad because I'm holding him to the standard he trying to hold us to.
They
nigga.
do that every time. They always get mad when we hold them to the same damn standard they hold. Because the shit don't make no damn sense and they know it. They made that shit up in their head and was like, you know what, that shit sound good. But then when we run it back to their ass, they're like, damn, that shit dumb as fuck. Get the hell out this phone before these niggas expose me, man.
Hey, he playing that Christmas present list right now.
I already got it.
You know, black people be putting shit on layaway 6 months in advance.
Exactly. He already got the Christmas list ready to go. Then, now that he talk all this shit to us, he got to go home and get ready for church and shit tomorrow.
Right. He got to go to church and shit.
Oh,
Get
Sunday.
your goof ass out of here, nigga. You follow an Anglo-Saxon way of life, nigga.
Boy, these dudes so fake online, man.
Quaker Puritan way of life.
Yeah, that boy pure Quaker and shit. Probably grew up in Utah on that motherfucking Mormon shit. Over there talking about him African.
Goof ass nigga. Hey, no goofies on over here, nigga. You goofies can exist on them other channels. Ain't no goofies over here, nigga. Y'all be saying the dumbest stuff, and then all we gotta do is Aristotle and dictum, right, D-Red? You gotta apply across the board. Since we only doing coaching now, let's look at your ass. Is you culturally African? No, nigga. Stop. Ain't nothing about you African, nigga. If you went over there with those people that were traditional Africans, they probably look at you as an outsider because you don't do anything that they do.
Look, they point to Haiti most as being the most African. But what the hell the African Union say to Haiti? They wasn't African enough. So if the African Union say you ain't African enough, nigga, you're not African enough. Like, they use American. Like, that's what they say about us all the time. Like, when they come over here, like when Africans come over here, they don't not like you because you're black. They don't like you because you're fucking Americanized. Nigga, like, get over it. Your culture, you ain't got no culture as far as they're concerned.
Hey, this nigga talking about he African and his government name was that Jaquan? His government name Jaquan. Last name Stewart and shit. Get your goofy.
Yeah, you might descend from King James. Look at that. Stewart Haplo group. You probably R1B ass nigga.
Johnson and shit. Get your American ass off of here.
Man, these dudes hilarious, man.
Oh,
and
man.
we did not bring y'all on here to make fun of y'all. Y'all did that to yourselves. We ain't like
right,
y'all.
right. He get
Y'all
back
bring people
they
around
talking
and
about
make
he
fun
African. That nigga said he Afro-Saxon.
Hey, but he right though.
Nigga said he Afro-Saxon.
He right though. He Afro-Saxon, man. Oh man, bro.
Yeah, Bernie, that was a good one. Haya said, since when they don't use DNA? I could remember a few years ago they was telling us you guys not Israelites because you don't have no DNA linking you to the land of Israel, but now they don't want to use DNA, right? Because it's cutting their argument.
Yep.
It's killing them. Now let's just do culture. Okay, so when majority of West Africa was Islamicized, I guess none of them your ancestors because they were following Allah and Islamic rites and rituals.
No, that makes sense.
For 1,000 years,
came over here practicing Islam. You telling me they not your people because they got a different culture?
They not. The Sunni people is practicing Islam. What the fuck? What the fuck wrong?
People in West Africa right now. Half the Yoruba practice Islam. You telling me my godmother grew up Islamic?
Yeah.
And she's from Lagos, Nigeria.
Listen. They ain't our people, brother. Nigga, you don't even do that shit. How you gonna make that comparison? You don't even do African culture.
You wanna know why? Because he figured it's a way that you can't make anybody Hebrew. That's what it come down to, bro. If you put up that argument, it makes it so you can't argue nobody Hebrew. That's all. But then when he noticed that it fall apart, gotta run. Time to go. That shit sound dumb when he said it back. That's why I was like, man, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, man, I'm gonna ask that nigga why they don't do culture tests in the courthouse, why they do DNA tests.
No, fuck that. I'm gonna bring it to current events. That situation with police when they found that semen on that young lady's what was it, scarf or some shit. When they found that, why didn't they say we're gonna bring this in to examine it for cultural remnants of polite?
I guess they don't know. It's proven they don't know how DNA works, bro. That's all it's proven. That's all this dialogue proves. They have no idea how to. This dude said DNA is not a better trace of lineage than culture. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But dude, I'm American, bro. Like, come on, bro. But you ain't gonna say that. You gonna tell me my black ass African. I'm from West Africa. I'm African. But no, nigga, culturally, I am American as shit. As much as I try to keep Torah, at best, like I say, I'm a Hellenized Jew.
Yeah. Yeah, and he know he is too. You know what I'm saying? Afro-Saxon, I'm gonna use that shit. But now they know it's a strong argument. Like, what they got to do with us? A haplogroup is a that is a group of people that share common ancestors. That has everything to fucking do with us.
Especially when we're talking about descent. It's the most concrete way to trace descent on the planet Earth. Okay, get over it. It is tracing the Y chromosome is the most concrete way, period, to trace someone's lineage. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to talk about an abstract way in culture. Culture is abstract. Do y'all understand that? There's nothing concrete about that.
Yeah, that's why I say the higher be praised. The DNA support us. That's why they don't want to deal with it. They probably rather hear us talk about Deuteronomy 28. DNA is their nightmare now. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why he kept Gish galloping me, because he didn't want me to make any points. They always do that. You say two things and they want to cut in. Why? Because they know you kicking their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm pressuring you. No, you're not. You're not pressuring nobody. You making yourself look like a jackass.
Yeah, because they think they pressure you until you ask them one question. It ain't even like you have to ask them 15 million questions like they ask you. You ask them one damn question, they get quiet. Like, hold up, bro, you can't answer this one question. I just answered 15 for you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I ain't answering that, nigga. I see where that leads to. Like, that leads to me looking like a dumbass.
Oh man, stay in school, y'all. You know, you got his real name, Jaquan.
What that sister said. That sister came in, had a beautiful, you know what I'm saying, dialogue about how informative our channel was to them, how it helped her realize that it's no insulting them telling her that she's not African, you know what I'm saying? Because it's true that her legacy started outside of Africa. And she learned that. It was very enlightening to her. Took a huge load off her chest. That was a beautiful. Then you come to these Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Trying to tell you culture is a better trace of lineage than DNA, when by definition DNA is.
If that's the case, everybody that speak Indo-European languages like we do go back to the Balkans.
Yep.
We all go back to the Balkans. We're gonna
do Georgia, Russia.
Since we speak English, we go back to the Balkans and the Caucasus. We go back to the Yamnaya culture. That's if we doing culture, English is that culture is Indo-Europe. It comes from Indo-European language groups. So we go back to Indo-Europeans. Matter of fact, we from the Proto-Indo-Europeans, since we use nothing but fucking culture. Don't use DNA. Don't use the one thing.
Proto-Indo-Europeans would be closer than us than modern Europeans. You know, they talk about that legacy of E and J. You know, J pretty much latched on to our hip, following us every goddamn where we went.
Oh yeah, the farmers. Yep. E and J were together. You right. But they ain't gonna even look at the genetic component. Just look at the culture component and trace that back. Who were the first people to speak English? Now we gotta go back to the first people to speak English, since we only talking about culture. Do you descend from them motherfuckers? This is the idiocy that the conscious community has created. And Thomas Sowell has put it the best way. Anti-intellectuals. This is what these people are. If they're telling you to put down science, if they're telling you to put down DNA, they're telling you to put down rational thinking and critical thinking. They're telling you don't think critically when they say these things. They want to stick you to a color game. Oh, what about these black people? Only black people, only black people. When our people are a myriad of colors. That's why I brought up North Africa when the sister was on. These brothers do not accept North Africans, but they want to talk African. I'm so pro-African. I'm Pan-African. Your Pan-Africanism stops at North Africa and East Africa. Stop fucking lying. You're not talking about connecting with the whole continent of Africa and all the peoples in it. You don't give a fuck about the rest of Africa. You talking about West Africa, and you really don't give a fuck about West Africa, because when Mighty Hebrew moved over there, I'm talking about, so ain't nobody trying to move over there and do that shit. So y'all be lying, man. Y'all lying. Y'all not about what y'all talking about. Y'all not no pro-African shit. Y'all anti-intellectuals, and you're against education, and you're against science. That's what you are. Pseudos. Skin color does not make you who you are. Your ancestry does. Your forefathers does. You descend from a people that existed prior to you. DNA shows you who those people were. Not culture. Not practices. Not language. Cultural forms are not genes. When your mom met your dad and had sex and made you, they did not pass down English to you, Negro. They taught you English after you were born. This is the stupidity that comes out of the conscious community. This is the idiocy that comes from the conscious community. You do not pass down culture. You pass down genes through sex. You learn culture while you're living. We can trace our genes, we can trace our haplotypes to a common ancestor. That common ancestor is not from sub-Saharan Africa. Get the fuck over it. Because y'all think sub-Saharan Africa is the end-all be-all, which is fucking racist. We was in Africa trapped down there with leaves in our damn ass, running around chasing wild fucking animals, and that's not the fucking truth. And that's why y'all keep hitting a source wall. Y'all hit this brick wall every time y'all get on here and say the nonsense you say, because we deal with academia and research. You deal with bullshit. You deal with racism. All right, we ain't got no time for no idiots, man. And I came at the brother like that because he came at me sideways on the other channel, so he knew he had it coming. All you Negroes are slow as fuck over there. All of y'all. I'm not putting a bite on my tongue. You niggas is slow. You have the basic understanding. It was like, why is he so boring? Why is he taking so long? Because I have to educate you all on what DNA is, what genetic descent means, what a haplogroup means. I have to break these terms down because you Negroes don't know what it is. Y'all don't know what a migratory pattern is. Y'all don't know none of that shit. I have to take my time and actually educate you niggas. Because the arguments you have been making has been based on your skin color. That's all that matters to y'all. What skin is it? What color skin are they? Okay, since we're going off skin color, what about the Negritos? What about the Abkhazian Negroes that live in the Black Sea region? I brought that up on that channel. They black. Why you not claiming them? What about the Aboriginals of Australia? Why are you not claiming them? What about the Andaman Islanders? We can go on and on and on. Just because someone's black, the Dravidians, Cheddar Man's population, what about them? That is not scientific. Just going off of how people look, man.
Picture pages, time to get your picture pages, time to get your crayons and your pencils. Picture pages, open up your picture pages, time to watch Bill Cosby do a picture page with you.
That's you niggas, man. Y'all some picture page niggas, visual niggas, man. The visual aid crew. Hey, School of Skills says it's Ron Dalton listening. Let him, hey, Ron Dalton, we want that debate. We want that fade, bro. I ain't forgot about you, bro. When we gonna get that debate popping? You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna debate because you want to hide behind your idiocy instead of coming out and actually standing on what you believe in and on that book that you wrote. All right, man. I'm gonna read one thing and I'm gonna get out of here. I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. Shalom to everybody. Shabbat shalom. All right. Hey, great point. Who just brought that out? White people try hard to make E3B Eurasian, but not E3A. Exactly. E3A is the brother to E3B. So if E1B1B is Eurasian, you just made E1B1A Eurasian too. Great point, sister. Now I want to bring this out. Let's get the academia popping. And just read this real quick and leave this with y'all, and then we'll close out. I just opened up to a part where it talks about people adopting languages. Isn't that intriguing? People can adopt languages. So
Oh, you
again,
didn't? Oh man, I didn't know that because that's cultural exchange. You know what I'm saying? And that would be them, having to share in the culture, right? So they would become them people once they share that. Man, we getting informed here, people. Going off their logic right now.
All right. I got the page right here. I'm gonna share my screen. Yo, these guys are ridiculous. Thomas Sowell said it right. Anti-intellectuals. Anti-intellectuals, bro. This is what these Negroes are. Anti-intellectual. They're against academia. They're against science. They're against DNA. They're against anything that kills their damn doctrine. All right, check this out, y'all. Then we're going to close out. We're going to read from Muntaser's work. It says right here, as y'all can see, where is it at? Let me start here. The different, let me start up here. I'm going to give y'all the context. I'm trying to get to the, it says, borrowing from a language of evolutionary process used in reference to speciation, but projected onto an infra-specific level, it can be said that Eastern Africa was a possible region of sympatric or peripatric differentiation of E haplogroup, and notably the P2 subclades. We come from P2. That's our forefathers. P2 creates E1B1A and E1B1B. That's what connects all of Africa together, because majority of the males in Africa are descendants of EP2. All right. It says the differentiation was not allopatric. The M96 ancestor did not spawn different clades on different sides of the Sahara as a basal split. That's huge too, because some people say, well, E was started up north and then some of them came down south. No, that's not what the DNA shows us, because that's also racist too. And these people follow that. That's why they believe that we come from sub-Saharan Africa 100,000 or 50,000 years ago. It says the cultural association, if any of this, have yet to be worked out in terms of possible meanings in archaeology and deep time linguistics. When lineages of known non-African origins are excluded, such as those found in the border regions of Africa, but also in the interior of Sahara, as with Chadic speakers in the Cameroons or Chad, the frequencies of the lineages of African origin increases. These data show the genealogical connections of substantial numbers of males from all regions of Africa, irrespective of phenotype. Irrespective of phenotype.
Hey, you need to stop with that blasphemy. All right, we supposed to be using their logic right now, and that's blasphemous to say phenotype don't matter. Right?
Let me read it again.
Because remember, we're using their logic. The whole basis is phenotype.
Yep.
Damn. Taking it, you can't take everything from us. Leave us with something, brother.
All across the North Africans, the Moroccans, there's 80% E3B, some of them are E38. Those are our family. Oh, they look Arab. They got curly, loose hair patterns. That don't mean shit. We still share the same common ancestor. We still show that. We still share that. So there's no way around it. Let me read it again. These data show the genealogical. What does genealogical mean? We share the same lineage as them. Genealogical connections of substantial numbers of males from all regions of Africa, irrespective of phenotype. So who really is the Pan-African here? It ain't you niggas, because y'all not connecting all of Africa. Y'all only focus with one little small portion. We say all over Africa we got our ancestors' children, right? Our relatives. Because EP2 dominates that damn continent, man.
Brother. Scott, look. The scientists, they don't use DNA to trace genealogy. Okay? They use culture, brother. Like 23andMe, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's pseudoscience, all right? We use culture, all right? That's what the real scholars use, all right?
We all Indo-Europeans.
These dudes clowns, bro. I don't understand it, bro. Like, why you gotta go this far? Just look. You can say your ancestors came the most ancient ancestors in the E haplogroup came from the Near East without being an Israelite. You know that, right? You can do that, but that's just too uncomfortable for you Negroes. Because that just puts you too close to that area.
Right. Let me read this too. I gotta bring this up. Let me pull this up, man. Cause this culture shit is dumb. Watch this. Let me share my screen again. Same book. Watch this. It says let me get to the point. Oh, right here. This is better. The idea of Africa has often been confined to tropical, sub-Saharan, or sometimes Saharan Africa. And this is the point I'll be bringing out. When they think of Africa, this is what they're talking about. They're not talking about North and East Africa. They're only talking about sub-Saharan Africa. That's it. They're not Pan-African. They Pan-Sub-Saharan. The implication being that populations in Northern Africa were only geographically African, but had no grounding in Africa. Conceptual clarity and descriptive precision are what is needed in the new discussion of Africa. And that's what we bring to the table. Conceptual clarity and descriptive precision. And the only way you can achieve that is through DNA. Because what was just stated, people usually treat North Africans as just geographically African and not real genetic Africans. But when you do the DNA, you can see that they belong there. They have always been there because E1B1B, 80% of them. And we know about the Ibero-Maurusians and what their DNA was. Okay.
And wasn't 1/3 of the Ibero-Maurusian DNA sub-Saharan Africa?
Exactly.
No, but there go your genetic link. Trouble.
And that ties them back to the Near East too. So
exactly,
niggas is in
there's
trouble.
There's an article titled "Sub-Saharan African Ties to the Near East." Like there's actually genetic articles titled that actually points out that there's an ancient tie between Sub-Saharan Africa and the Near East that none of you Negroes can get around. Okay,
right. Watch this. This next part gonna make them say something. Look, various people have bioculturally assimilated non-Africans, but also sometimes change language themselves. That kills your goddamn culture argument there. If non-Africans are assimilating with Africans, they're going to have the culture and changing languages too. That's a change of culture. This is why you cannot follow culture. Culture is plastic. It's subject to fucking change. It's subject to die. It's subject to become obsolete. But guess what ain't going to become obsolete? Your Y chromosome. Stop it. It says, of course, during the Greco-Roman and Islamic periods, there was substantial migrations from non-African regions and biocultural assimilation between groups. It is important to remember that there were indigenous people there, specifically Amazigh and ancient Egyptians, both of which had assimilated others after their ethnic emergence and had complex biological histories. Prior to the crystallization of their identities, neither of these people disappeared, but via interactions they were changed. We still have Amazigh, Nubians, Egyptians, Beha, and others who may have assimilated or been assimilated. They often adopt a new language, religion, and customs, but are aware of their origins. So again, these people know who they are, but even though they don't speak the language or practice the religion or custom of their ancestor. This is, again, if you try to apply culture to them, it's not going to apply because they don't even have the culture of their ancestors. It says we have Arab tribes who assimilated indigenous Africans in the Sahara and other regions. Another instance is that of the Arabs who were assimilated by the Amazigh. There are Arabized Africans, the ancient Nilotic people from Alexandria to Khartoum and parts of the Maghreb. Many populations have multiple ancestries, and there are multiple descendants. Identity is another matter. It is possible to be a descendant of X group, but not socially identified as X at present. And that's what's going on with us. We're saying, hey, in the past, we were Israelites. We did practice something back then, migrated. We adopted cultures through acculturation and enculturation, just like the Ashkenazi Jews when they went to Germany and the Rhine and East Europe. They started making up the Yiddish. They came up with Yiddish. Yiddish is not Hebrew.
Just like the ancient Israelites did in Babylon. Again, Marduk is named. Mordecai is named after the god Marduk because since he was the most powerful god in the Babylonian pantheon, they pretty much said, well, that's Yah, because according to us, Yah is the most powerful god in his pantheon. Because we know there's angels. Angels are part of a pantheon.
Exactly. We can go on and on with this. The Elephantine Papyrus show you that they was mixing certain Egyptian elements with the belief of Yahweh.
Exactly.
Right? So that happens. That does not change who the people are biologically. You get your genes from your parents. That's what you inherit from your parents biologically. That's why it says it is possible to be a descendant of X group, but not socially identified as X at the present. Social rules have a role to play in determining social identity. And this is the problem we're having with these guys. They don't identify us as anything but being fucking black. Watch this. Which may not have much to do with blood quantum. I mean, it has nothing to do with DNA. That's just how you socially identify people based on a broken system that's not based on science. It's based on fucking racism, man. I'm in there.
Well, guys, this is how you handle pseudo scholarship. All right, you put yourself in their shoes, use their logic, and just point out how silly it is.
Big facts.
Big business.
RSK, let it play, boy.
When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. I wake up and say me a prayer. Brush my teeth, babe, then I throw on some threads. Wash my face, grab a cup, hold me some yum. Put on my backpack, then I'm off to the bread. I eat these devils for breakfast, gotta be careful. Whole lot of blood being shed in the streets. World is so wicked, I weep for the living. I drop a free cheer for the dead. All my white friends in my pocket, or either they loading onto this black card that I swipe. Say every time that I drop it, the verses be hitting more harder than problems of life. Rich, I collected 2 pennies from every person that willingly gave me advice. Being afraid can't exist in my spirit. I'm fearing no man but the Father in Christ. I put in work with the brothers. We stood on them corners from 10 to like 9 the same night, teaching our people the gospel, equipped with a camera, some posters, some speakers, and mic. Every time that I see mama, she telling me, son, you gotta walk in the light. Christ, the bread of heaven, keep feeding my spirit, and I want a low, not a slide. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Serving same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
When I tell you I'm an Israelite, tribe of Judah, don't you take it personal. Plead the blood on these demons, we purging them. Don't entertain Jezebels, we be curving them. Ayy, I got a ribbon, she virtuous. In person, this blue life ain't virtual. I can't forget when I heard the truth. I got cut with that word, it got surgical. Conviction can lead to repentance. I pray these verses encourage you. We repenting, now we on the vertical. Judah rising, see Isaiah 32. Big business, nothing minuscule. I picked up that pen back in middle school. Guard your light and take heed who you listen to. Watch your mouth and your ears and your vision too. Hashatan and Shao Kahn won't finish you. In Mortal Kombat, this war is not physical. Gird your loins up and follow the general. Messiah is coming, that's scriptural. You gotta starve your flesh. The real war ain't even started yet. This look like a setup for a second exodus. I'm trying to be where the water at. Let's get it.
When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers. When I tell them I'm an Israelite, it's big business, not miniature. Service same thing as minister. Kill the flesh, how to finish them. These commandments, they'll sustain you. I'm surrounded by these angels. I ain't worried, I'm protected from seen and unseen dangers.
Hey, it's 7 candlesticks up. We've been telling you niggas, it ain't a debate. It's a stick up. Gang.